Hey, and away we go. Good afternoon. Daily Ticket with you here. Sean Bray, Sam Oshry on a Thursday. A lot to get to. Folks, we're giving away a pair of tickets today to the Truist Championship PGA Tour coming our way in Philadelphia Cricket Club starting next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I did DM Paige. She didn't get back to me.
Shocking.
Sporonic.
I
guess I should know how to say her last name. It'd be great to have her, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
She'll be there on Wednesday for the Creator Classic.
She's a host. She's on the course.
Nice shot.
Yeah, she's on the course. So she's doing a really good job with that Creator Classic on Wednesday as well.
Wrong, bitch.
Oh, thank you. All right, we have a lot to get to. Of course, Sam is in studio. Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook at 3:30. 4 o'clock, giving away those tickets to the Truist Championship PGA Tour coming to Philadelphia. Got a lot more to discuss with that. We will be live next Friday, live from a PGA Tour stop. Unbelievable. The Gambler rolling out the red carpet. Can't wait to be all part of that. Of course, we're swinging and ding it. Moose Mays and Danielle will be in attendance. A lot of fun will be had. That's for dang sure. And then at 4:30, Mark Henry Jr. Let's talk some NFL draft. Let's put a bow on this bad boy. Let's talk some quarterbacks. Let's talk about the Eagles.
Let's do it.
I haven't heard his thoughts as far as the NFL draft class is concerned, and shame on me, but I said it yesterday to Sean Bernard. We're Super Bowl champions, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you're Super Bowl champions, you're just like, I don't know.
It's also not only we're Super Bowl champions, it's also that we have the best general manager in the league, and everyone kind of universally has said
that
we
too.
trust that guy.
So
like whatever happens, we'll see the product on the field, but everyone universally is like, all right, this guy is the best at what he does, not just in the NFL, maybe in all of sports right now. So we trust the guy.
That is pretty, like, that's spot on, Sam. And I don't really think I've put two and two together when it comes to maybe that had something to do with it. I was tuned in. We were together on Thursday night. We watched it together.
Yeah.
We loved it. We didn't go to the bars until Shedeur Sanders got picked. And it never happened.
I was more focused on Knicks Pistons.
Yes, you were. And, you know, Shedeur Sanders gets the phone call.
Yeah.
Heard
But
around
which
the
one?
world.
The prank one or the real one?
The prank one. Yeah, that's all right. Good luck.
Wait, is that a crime? I'm kind of confused right now. Is pranking someone a crime? Because everyone's seemingly making it out to be like he committed a felony based on the reaction to a prank call. A prank call.
The old man makes $1.6 million. Yeah. Uncle Sam gets his cut, right?
Yep.
Got fined $100,000.
Yeah. And
wow.
It's not really clear how it came out, but I doubt his dad gave it to his son. Like, oh, here's his number.
No, his son went in and found the iPad laying around and took it.
Probably, yeah. It could have happened to anyone. His son just made a mistake and it cost his dad a boatload of money.
We do have the apology from Ulbrich. Ulbrich, is that how you say his name?
He was the interim head coach for the Jets.
I know he was. I know he was. And you know what's crazy? It's like the defense went down
with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he literally is one of the top 10 defense coordinators paid in the NFL right now. And
he was apparently considered a pretty good DC. I don't know if head coaching, once he had to go to the head coaching role,
didn't
probably
he come
wasn't
from
a thing.
special teams though before he took over for Saleh? Was he not? Or no, because Saleh was head coach. He was a defense coordinator.
Yeah. I believe he was DC. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, since we tiptoed into it, this is Jeff Ulbrich apologizing yesterday.
So I made the Falcons aware of the situation, and then our next course of action was to try to get a hold of the Sanders family so we could apologize in person, which we were able to do. The Sanders family, Shedeur and Coach Sanders, were amazingly gracious, more gracious than they needed to be in a moment like this.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me one bit, right? Dion has been through a lot. He's seen a lot. A 21-year-old kid is a 21-year-old kid. I'm not making excuses. I actually feel bad for him at times. I do. Like if you are the old man, how do you punish him?
Make him pay for his own college. Make him get a job, because I'm sure he's not paying for that Ole Miss degree. Make him get a job, pay for his own college, ground him all summer. I don't know. I'm not the person to ask for parenting advice. That's you. But I will say, you would think Shedeur was the only one that got a prank call, right? Like, it didn't happen to Cooper Jean last year. It didn't happen to like 10 more prospects this year.
Can I ask you how easy it is to get these people's numbers?
Well, it's obviously really easy. You know, it's interesting.
How?
The league sends out, this is interesting because Adam Schefter was talking about it. The league sends out agents' numbers to every single team because every single team is going to call the agent, and the agent's going to put the prospect on the phone for when they want to draft them. So every team and probably a boatload of team personnel have these numbers. Shedeur Sanders represented himself. He didn't have an agent. So Shedeur Sanders' number went out to every single team and probably hundreds of team personnel or dozens of team personnel. So it wasn't an agent. It was Shedeur Sanders' direct number. So that's how they got access.
Interesting. Yeah, I did know that, but I didn't connect the dots as far as with Sanders being his own agent, his own acting, and that's why the number was out there. But again, like you said, McCord talked about it. We know about Cooper DeJean. The list goes on.
But no one else is getting penalized. There's no investigation. No one else is getting penalized. How those got leaked? You want to know why? It's because it's not Shedeur Sanders.
Nah.
Yeah, yes. And you know why people know about it and saw it? It's because Shedeur Sanders was live streaming his entire draft party. His whole draft party was being live streamed on Twitch by they were putting on an entertainment show instead of focusing on the draft. So they were live streaming the whole party.
Get those clicks.
Sure. But then that's why he got embarrassed like that, because it was on stream. Other guys just get prank calls. You don't necessarily see it and doesn't become huge, but it's Shedeur Sanders. And so that's why the NFL is investigating it, because it's the Sanders family. And that's just part of the Sanders experience of maybe why a lot of teams didn't want to draft the guy, because everything that happens with this guy, it's just heightened media attention, where it's like these other guys got prank called. There's no investigation into how those numbers got leaked.
I don't mind it where you're going. I think there is some truth to it. I do think the fine is egregious.
Yeah.
Like $350,000. What are we doing here? You want to find the team, that's fine, but the head coach or the guy, the father, I don't know. That was a little odd, but anyways, I digress. We do have other fish to fry, big fish, let's put it that way, because last night the LA Lakers 1-2-3 Cancun.
The clock winding down, and the horn sounds here in LA, and the Timberwolves have defeated the Lakers 103-96. They close out the series in 5 games. And for the first time in franchise history, the Timberwolves have advanced to the second round of the NBA playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
How about that? Yeah, this is another type of vibe I'm getting with the T-Wolves and with the Pacers. And both teams, of course, had great success last year and were able to advance, and nobody gave them an opportunity. Minnesota Timberwolves in round one, last 2 NBA postseasons. If you're wagering on the T-Wolves, you've been cashing in bigly. Wolves were underdogs in both series versus the Suns last year and the Lakers. 8-1 straight up and ATS. 4-1 straight up ATS as an underdog. How about that, Sam Ostry? Where do you want to start from last night? Big picture, or do we go with the Rudy Gobert game of his life?
Of his life. I mean, what a performance. The punching bag of the NBA. This guy gets clowned by everyone and anyone. Every opportunity people get to take shots at him, they do. And sometimes it's deserved. Like Luka obviously has him on an island, hits a huge shot over him, is talking smack to him. He gets benched in the Olympics for France, like the country he's representing. He gets benched in the Olympics. He's been played off the floor certain times throughout the playoffs. For as much as what he brings or doesn't bring offensively as he does some of the problems that he has defensively. But last night he was phenomenal. I mean, he was a college kid playing against middle school kids. Like, that's what it looked like in terms of the height and size and strength and physicality disparity that Rudy Gobert exhibited against the Lakers, because they had to go small. JJ Redick made a decision, and I don't disagree with the decision, but he made a decision. We don't have a center that's dependable on our roster. So we're not playing any center. We are going small, even if it's the death of us, and it was the death of them, because Rudy Gobert was awesome. The Wolves were feeding him in a way they don't really do that much, where he was sealing in the post on Luka. He had an awesome bucket for Luka to get his second foul. He was crashing the offensive glass, and the Lakers just had no answer. So what a game from Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, the punching bag of the NBA is pretty interesting when you put it like that. He is a guy that people love to take shots, very outspoken, very different-minded. We'll leave it at that. Of course, he was the idiot with the COVID situation. He brought that on himself. But, you know, Rudy Gobert, and the fact that he's been, you know, paid a lot of money, wins the Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's problem.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't think he should have won it last year, specifically, me included. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if we're giving the proper respect to the Minnesota Timberwolves that they deserve.
Oh, no one ever does, because they always play like last year against the Suns. They play these superstars. And that's why everyone's on Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And this series obviously was mispriced, and I miscalculated too. I had the Lakers winning in 7, but still the Lakers winning, and I miscalculated the star impact of Austin Reeves and LeBron James and Luka Doncic. I thought those 3 guys, their core was going to get it done. But the Wolves' best players, it really came down to this. The Wolves' best players in this series were better than the Lakers' best players. And that includes Julius Randle, who has a horrible playoff rap, somewhat undeservedly.
What do you have last night, 20?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He shot awesome from 3 all series as a decision maker. He was great. He was attacking Luka.
Ant didn't make a 3 last night, if I'm not mistaken.
He was 0 for 11 from 3. But I actually thought Ant didn't have that bad of a game, because he was pretty good when they're throwing doubles at him. He's been a really good decision maker and passer out of doubles, and just always knows when to make the right play. And also, it was interesting last year against the Nuggets when the Wolves won that series in the second round in Game 7. Ant was really bad that game too. He had 16 points on 6 for 24 shooting. So in 2 elimination games now that the Wolves have won, or series clinching games, Ant hasn't been great, but his teammates have lifted him up. And Julius Randle, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert last night, all those guys, those 2 through 5, were way better than the Lakers 2 through 5. LeBron, he had pretty good scoring output some games. He was exhausted last night. That was pretty evident. Austin Reeves did not have a good series at all, and he owned up to that yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
And Luka was an absolute cone out there. I mean, that was worse. His defense in this series was way worse than it was against the Celtics, when everyone started kind of started getting national attention for how bad he is defensively. It was worse this series. And part of that is because Lakers don't have the roster or the personnel to hide Luka defensively. And that's the next step for the Lakers, is to build a roster around Luka.
Yeah, look, Luka's got to look himself in the mirror. He got traded. I'm sure that it wasn't the easiest. He had some really great games in a Lakers uniform, but man, there wasn't 1 second in that game last night that he wasn't like wincing. He looked like he was tired. I get it, but man, you're a professional ball player, dude. You're getting a ton of money. You're being discussed as one of the greats in the game. Am I allowed to say, like, where's the pride? Get inside the gym. Could you shed a few pounds?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on there? And I want to be fair too, because he was attacked. That's another thing that when we talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and maybe somewhat the Pacers, because the Pacers had the attitude against the Milwaukee Bucks. They didn't back down. They were ready to bully them. You want to talk your talk? We're going to go right back at you. Chippy loved it. The T-Wolves, hard fouls, didn't matter. They talked their trash. They backed it up, and that's all in all. It comes back to, do you win, right? And that's, I love what Shannon Sharp was saying. I think that's funny, and Ant was having fun with that.
Lakers in 5. I haven't heard from Shannon in a little bit.
Yeah, he's still doing that nightcap show.
I see. I wonder what the viewership is on that.
I'm sure it's pretty good. It might be up there with Shedeur Sanders' Twitch draft show as well. I just think the T-Wolves, for my money, it's hard to sit here and say, because I was saying we need the Lakers to win. We want them in that next round. But, throughout the course of that series, it's not about the Lakers. It needs to be about the Minnesota Timberwolves.
No, you're right, because I think I underestimated just the Wolves' size impact. I mean, they out-rebounded in this series the Lakers by over 20 rebounds.
Yes.
In terms of offensive boards, they grabbed 65 offensive rebounds.
Second chance points, dominated.
It was just, they just killed them on the glass. And then defensively, the Lakers had no answer, and they're awful defensively. And it starts and ends with Luka Doncic, who they just try to get in action every single time, whether it's for Anthony Davis or Anthony Edwards, whether it's for Julius Randle. Like, Luka, as the primary defender on Anthony Edwards, he gave up 41 points to Anthony Edwards this series. 35 to Jaden McDaniels, 22 to Julius Randle, and 13 to Naz Reid. He could not guard anybody. Whoever he was guarding was an absolute mismatch and just an advantage for the Wolves. And LeBron had some good moments defensively, but he's obviously aging. Austin Reeves is not a great defender, and they don't have any rim protector on the back line. So like LeBron or Rui was playing the center most of the time. So it was just, you can hide Luka defensively if you have the roster that the Mavs had last year, which is a rim protecting center like a Daniel Gafford, like a Derek Lively, and also awesome perimeter defenders, wing 3-and-D types like PJ Washington and Derek Jones. That's when you can hide Luka a little more, and why the Mavs defense was good last year and good enough to get to the finals. This roster was not built for Luka Doncic, and especially, forget offensively, it was not built to hide Luka Doncic defensively, and he was a disaster, an absolute cone out there. And part of its effort, Like, yes, he absolutely needs to get in better shape this summer and get properly conditioned.
Yes.
So, but part of it is also he's just a bad defender. Even when he puts in effort, he looks lost out there. And for such a cerebral, smart player, sometimes it's shocking to watch.
All right. Well, T-Wolves send the Lakers packing. And, of course, we did have another game with the Rockets and Warriors. And that game, or that series got extended. It's heading back to the Bay Area with Golden State up 3-2. We'll talk a little bit more about that game coming up here. Of course, it was a blowout. There's a lot to discuss. Houston battling back. We'll find out if Sam thinks that Houston can send it to a game 7. We also have 2 great games going off this evening. But forgive me, unfortunately, the Lakers are the Lakers.
Yeah,
and they
gotta talk about them.
They do have good talking points for us to get into. Specifically, it starts with JJ Redick for me.
Yeah.
Should it, though? Should it be more about LeBron James and him coming back next year? Should it be more about Luka and what to expect? I get the roster construction, absolutely, but that will take somewhat care of itself over these next few months. We don't know who will be available. We don't know who's going to force themselves out. But JJ Redick, for my money, I thought coached his ass off this year. I thought he was a good coach. Like, we talked about that Lakers coaching spot as funeral.
Yeah.
You're not going to have success there. You're hired to be fired. Did JJ Redick have a good rookie season as a head coach in your mindset?
In totality, yes.
Okay.
He had a good rookie season. Absolutely. I thought he did a good job for a first-year head coach. No doubt. He also deserves some criticism for this series.
100%.
And look, he will grow as a coach, but JJ Redick sat on ESPN last year, and he came at Doc Rivers hard for not his coaching, but for not taking accountability.
Correct.
And he said, you make excuses. He said, I'm sick and tired of listening to Doc Rivers not take accountability for when he makes mistakes. Then JJ Redick decides to play all 5 guys in the second half in game 4 without sitting them once. For the first time in NBA history, 24 straight minutes for 5 guys. Not a single sub was made. Lakers blow a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Those guys, obviously, Lakers lose the game, and then they lose the game 5 and eventually the series. JJ Redick doubled down on that. So when he's calling for other people as a media guy to take accountability, as a coach, where's your accountability? Like, the 3 hardest words to say for anybody is "I was wrong." Nobody ever can say that.
Yeah.
Nobody can say "I was wrong."
I say it a lot at my house.
Yeah,
I do.
Well, you have to. I don't.
My
say
wife
it
never says it. Never says she's wrong. Love it.
Who does?
Yeah.
And JJ Redick certainly doesn't want to. So it's a little bit different when you're in that coaching seat when he was criticizing Doc Rivers as a media guy. But he had a bad series, from playing, not using your bench at all, to yesterday on the broadcast. Reggie Miller was talking about the fact that JJ Redick seemed rattled in the pregame meeting. Like, he was still thinking about his decision from last game and kind of the criticism that came with it. It's like, you have to flush that and move on. It's like you're coaching in a game 5 now. And I thought the decision to put Maxi Kleber in yesterday, who hadn't played basketball in months, hadn't practiced, let alone played once with the Lakers, was just an awful decision. I get it from a size perspective, and I don't mind them not playing Jackson Hayes or any 5 because those guys are unplayable too. But to play Maxi Kleber and then bring him back into the game with 5 minutes left in a 2-possession game, they brought Maxi Kleber back. Again, Maxi Kleber had not practiced, let alone played with the Lakers once this season. He just got cleared the day before after being injured for months. And JJ Redick puts him in and then puts him in a crucial moment with 5 minutes to go. There's no other way around it. It was dumb coaching. And JJ Redick is a brilliant basketball mind. He's a smart dude. He will be a successful head coach for a long, long time in this league, but he got out-coached by Chris Finch, and he wasn't the reason why they lost. They were the worst team, but he certainly contributed to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go far as Kendrick Perkins. Way too much Kendrick Perkins on ESPN. You mean to tell me ESPN, the worldwide leader, can't get another NBA mouth out there to fill it? Like, come on.
They let everyone else go. They let Zach Lowe go. They let all the good ones go so they can keep Kendrick Perkins. Also, you kind of get a feeling of how some people felt about JJ Redick based on how they're talking about him. People are killing him on ESPN.
Yeah, look.
With Kendrick Perkins included, who him and JJ, if you remember, they had a lot of back and forth about race. It wasn't just about basketball. Yeah. Those guys got into it.
Yeah, no, and you're right. And they're going to get their shots, and that's fine. And I think JJ would I don't know what JJ is going to say. Matter of fact, I got a clip. We'll play it for you. He evaluates himself. He spoke today again. I thought that was him. That's Steph. I apologize. They don't even look nowhere near. But with that being said, JJ, I thought in totality coached well. For the Lakers organization with all those egos, dealing with LeBron James and the Sun and everything that has come with it, that huge trade. Like, for me, I think JJ will improve the roster. He knows what they need. If they can get him what they need to help out as far as big size players with some size, rim protection, so on and so forth, that's only going to help things for Luka. I think the future's pretty bright with the Lakers. I really do. Regardless of what LeBron James brings to the table next year, I would assume he's going to retire, have that as well, but we'll see.
You assume LeBron James is going to retire?
Next year.
Oh, after next year. Do you see
he's going to have
James,
a Swans.
You see his comments where he put pressure on the front office?
Yeah.
Do you have those there?
Yeah, he said, would Anthony Davis answer the question next thing he was fired?
Yeah.
Or traded? Yeah.
Like, come on, LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron.
Yeah.
How are you piling on your front office right now? Like, you acknowledge that this was a good trade. How are you criticizing your front office like you're in the position of that Anthony Davis was in? LeBron, your organization just got a life raft. You had a drowning organization with you and Anthony Davis at the helm. Drowning. I mean, they weren't above a 7 seed the last 3 seasons. They had one nice Western Conference run. It was not working with those two guys, both guys on the wrong side of their careers. You were a drowning organization. The Mavs gift you a life draft. It's not just a life raft. They had a life raft that brought them to a beachfront property that they're going to stay at for the next decade.
Damn right.
And LeBron is insinuating that he's on the chopping block if he kind of makes comments about the roster situation. And he's saying like, oh, like we traded Anthony Davis because he made those comments.
Yes.
You didn't trade Anthony Davis because of those comments. You traded Anthony Davis because you got a much better player, not just for the short term, but for the long term too.
Pretty
it's
easy.
Like this is why people don't like LeBron.
Absolutely.
It's like,
but
why are you making those comments?
Remember last year when I don't know, I might retire. Like
he does that every year.
We knew he wasn't going
year.
to do that last year. And people still ran with it.
Yep.
Like, oh, we got to give him the proper praise because he deserves it. LeBron James will 100% get the career send-off at every spot.
He wants it.
And you know what?
He deserves it.
He
100%.
deserves it. And B, I think it's good for the game.
Yes.
For the league itself, this guy, yes. If we're not going to do it for LeBron James, then it needs to stop.
Especially as a Laker, because Kobe got it when the Lakers were horrible in 2016. But everyone was watching Lakers games, especially road games, especially towards the end, because it was this guy's end of his career, a legend. If you haven't been paying attention for the last 2 decades, if you think LeBron's not going off without a massive send-off, and he deserves it,
yeah,
but he wants it.
Oh, can you imagine what that's going to be like in Cleveland?
God. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe like a 10-minute tribute.
As
video.
I sit here taking a somewhat of a shot at the idea, I got goosebumps.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
It's unbelievable to think like LeBron James goes into Cleveland on his final season as an NBA player. It's like, dude, yeah, if we're not going to do it for that guy,
yeah,
and everybody needs to follow suit, get in line and just understand that this is good for the league and he deserves it. With that being said, enough of LeBron because he's coming back. JJ Redick, though, let's move over to him again. Evaluating himself after the season, and here's what he had to say.
I'll use my own thoughts to evaluate myself, and I'll use what my players say and what my coaching staff says to evaluate. But, you know, I know I can be better, and I know I will get better. I don't necessarily take any satisfaction from how the year went. That's not to say I'm not proud of what the group was able to do and how we were able to figure things out on the fly and put ourselves in a position to have home court in the first round. But there's always ways to get better, and I can get a lot better.
Ooh, that's got to go on the back of the baseball card. Give us first round playoff series at home. Come on, dude. Anyways, that's JJ, and look, these guys after they lose, it's tough. Like Giannis deserves a lot of credit. He gets out there on the microphone, speaks about it honestly. I love what he said a couple years ago or 2 years ago, or whatever it was, when he said, man, like we can't play a full season and say it's a complete loss if we don't win the championship, right? Like I love that answer. Love what he did yesterday, talking about the old man, Halliburton, and all that. So I just want to be fair about that. But JJ is smug. JJ's arrogant.
Oh,
JJ's Duke.
He's an absolute arrogant a-hole.
Yeah.
Like that's probably why a lot of people at ESPN didn't like him or taking their shots now. That's why a lot of people are rooting against him in a way.
But how
Like,
many coaches are arrogant and
but they
a-holes
aren't
in the NBA?
JJ Redick, a college basketball
100%,
legend, weren't an NBA player, a media guy who was on the rise.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of people who don't like him. So there's going to be a lot of people to pile on him when he makes poor decisions and struggles like he did in this series because he was completely outcoached.
Yep.
But JJ Redick is also a brilliant basketball mind. He's a workhorse. He will get better, and he will be a great coach in this league.
Yeah, and one more, because I did see everyone's getting their clicks, everyone's getting their takes, and that's great. Now's the time. Pile on, get what you can. I did see somebody out there saying, like, and this is why JJ Redick didn't deserve the opportunity. Didn't earn the opportunity to be a head coach in the NBA. Like, come on, man. Can we put that to bed? Like, he played how long in the NBA? Had an
12, 14 years.
Like, you mean to tell me JJ Redick wasn't deserving of an opportunity to coach? Come on, man. If Jason Kidd's a coach, I get it. What did Jason Kidd do? Some G League stuff, stint? I know he was an assistant coach for a little while. Sure. But JJ Redick, come on, right? Like,
that's part of people's problem is that he didn't coach at any level other
true.
than Pee Wee basketball.
He looked pretty good to me.
But look at Steve Nash didn't coach at any level, and he was a
That's
disaster.
True. Yeah, he was.
For the Nets. Wasn't all his fault. It was a lot on the players. But look, you get those opportunities if you were that good of a player and you can articulate how great of a basketball mind you are.
All right, we're going to hit on a little bit more from the Rockets and Golden State Warriors perspective. We do have some comments coming and get involved in the conversation with our show. Sam on X, how did Dalton Connect not get any minutes? Sam Ostry.
He doesn't deserve any minutes.
Okay. He also said, Ant-Man is the truth. Wolves are unreally physical and very well coached. Curious how the Warriors matchup will go. Is it already the Warriors? Are we just done with the Houston Rockets?
I think it'll be the Warriors, and I hope it's the Warriors because there will be nothing better than Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green. And we talk about Rudy Gobert being the punching bag of the league.
Ooh.
Draymond Green has made him the punching bag of the league. I mean, Draymond Green has genuine hatred in his heart for Rudy Gobert. So because Draymond's going to be the 5. So yeah, the Wolves have the size advantage. If it is the Warriors, the Wolves will have the size advantage for sure. But Draymond is also not a typical small ball 5. He can get physical. He's a great rebounder as a 5. So that'll be a really interesting series. I don't know who's going to be favored exactly. I'd probably lean the Wolves, but assuming it's the Warriors, that'll be a good one.
Warriors right now minus 450 to win their series against the Houston Rockets, plus 350 for the Houston Rockets. Little line movement yesterday with the Cavs and Pacers. Pacers are now down to plus 310. I think they were as high as plus 350 yesterday. We do have 2 pretty big games going off this evening, and we're going to spice things up. Round 2 with the Knicks and Pistons, actually game 6, but round 2 between Sam and Sean Bernard. We're going to get a nice little wager for tonight, friendly wager. Looking forward to getting Sean's take on that one. He's back in the Detroit Pistons, and Sam is all over the Knicks. And I think this goes back to MSG for 7.
Really? I don't think so.
I think you can flip a coin. It could go either way, just like every other game in this series. But I'm going to give the Pistons a little love here. I think it goes back to
talking
MSG.
a lot of smack, a lot of it.
All right.
Malik Beasley today was talking.
The day of the game?
Yeah, well, that's when he did a little pressing.
Grief. All right, Julian Edler is going to join us on the other side from DraftKings Sportsbook. Folks, at 3:55, I'm going to give out the contest line number. We got 2 lines that will be open. If you are looking to win a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship coming to the Philadelphia Cricket Club next week, you need to get in line. We're going to play birdie or bogey. You like that?
Love it.
Do you?
I'm more of a birdie guy. Usually I played my first round this past weekend.
How'd you do?
Like 10, 11 birdies. No, I'm kidding. Horrible. Horrible. I played a scramble with my boys.
We're going to play
It was ugly.
birdie or bogey, 3 questions. You got to get 2 out of the 3 right, and you could be winning a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship coming up next week at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. We'll talk more about that and, of course, all things NBA playoffs with Julian Edlow. More Daily Take with Sam Ostry from The Score. I'm Sean Brace. Back after this.
The NBA playoffs are here, and nobody has you covered like the Gambler Gang. We don't just watch the playoffs. We bet the hell out of them. Oh, my God. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Virginia, the Schuylkill eastbound Boulevard to University. In that delay at Montgomery, there's a broke down truck in the left lane. Westbound stacked up University to Duarte and Boulevard to Belmont. Bluebird southbound calling St. David's and Medias Wildcore. Crash takes out the left lane. All right, to tell total traffic
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. If you're ready for a new job, let Express Employment Professionals help you. Express is already hiring for summer jobs in a variety of industries. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. Go to ExpressPros.com to find your location. That's ExpressPros.com.
BetMGM is an unreal deal for sports fans. Turn $10 into $150 if you win your first bet at BetMGM. Simply download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code WDASAM150. Then place a $10 bet on any sport. You'll receive $150 in bonus bets if you win. The fun doesn't stop there. The sportsbook that knows how to treat you right has plenty of surprises in store. Sign up to get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, like the new look same-game parlays, live betting options, and more. Download the app today and get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first bet with bonus code WDASAM150. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Pennsylvania only, new customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Where legends reside. On the warship Olympia, history and pride from the 2nd until the 4th of May. Come aboard and get ink to sail away. The warship Olympia Tattoo Festival is here. Traditional ink and nautical cheer. Philly's seaport where old meets new. Sail into history with a bold tattoo. Get your ticket today at villainarts.com.
Leo Schofield spent decades in prison for a crime Jeremy Scott later confessed to. Season 2 of the hit podcast Bone Valley investigates how Jeremy's violent past unfolded and who else may have suffered his wrath.
This is a case that should never happen. I told you got it wrong, you got the wrong man.
Listen to Bone Valley on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Bone Valley.
Cool. Oh, hi. Welcome to IKEA. How can I help? Isn't this the parking lot of my daughter's ballet class? It sure is, but I see you're on IKEA.com ordering some spring items.
Yeah, I'm hosting a barbecue this week. I completely forgot I need everything.
With delivery or pickup options, we've got what you need to conveniently order IKEA literally anywhere.
Convenient. Wait, where are you going?
The next car over just placed an IKEA order too. Busy morning.
You're amazing.
Get IKEA whenever, wherever, however you want. Order from IKEA online and get affordable delivery or choose from thousands of pickup locations.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
May I have your attention, please?
You're listening to The Daily Ticket with Sean Brace, Philly's first daily sports gambling show.
Let us see the dough!
On Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. The action starts here.
Oh, you're damn right. We have major action this evening. We're talking about not one, but 2 game 6s. And we will have an in-house wager between Sean Menard and Sam Oster. We'll talk a little bit more about that. How are you with cars, Sam?
Not great.
All right. I have a funny feeling you might be changing his oil if this goes to 7 at MSG.
No, because it's not going 7.
All right. Let's head out to the Gambler stream. Always great to see our good friend Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook indoors today. Great to have you, Julian. A lot to discuss. How we doing, sir? How was your weekend? How was the draft for the Patriots? So much to get into with you.
Yeah, we're doing good. The weather remains nice. I could be doing this outside right now, but I figured I would keep it professional indoors. We don't want to overuse our outdoor appearances.
Tornado.
We gotta save some for July and August.
Yes.
But yeah, good. Draft went well.
Look, here's what we got, though. We will discuss all things game 6s. I really want to get your take on now what for the Lakers and, of course, the T-Wolves, Pacers, all that and more when it comes to the NBA playoffs, as nobody does it better than Julian, once again, over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, for the people out there, we will be giving away a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship. These tickets are hot. burning a hole in my pants. We are playing Birdie or Bogey coming up at 3:55. So make sure you listen for the contest line that I will give out at that point in time. Line up, and you can win a pair of tickets. The Truist Championship will bring top PGA Tour players like Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas to the Philadelphia Cricket Club, Wissahickon course, May 8th through the 11th. Treat yourself to an unforgettable experience at the Michelob Ultra Club as you soak in the action from the finishing holes, all while enjoying all-inclusive beer, wine, seltzer, and soda. Enjoy a variety of fun fan experiences and local Philly Bites. Tickets are selling fast, so secure your spot today at truistchampionship.com. All right, Julian, to last night, JJ Redick, did he lose the series for the LA Lakers? LeBron and Luka going home, and everybody wants somebody to beat up on right now, and it seems like it's all on JJ Redick. Is that fair or foul in your mind?
No, it's not fair. I think maybe JJ Redick has handled some of it in an unlikable way. So maybe that's why he's getting additional backlash or unwarranted backlash. I don't like, give me a coach that would have won the series for the Lakers. I would put it that way. Like, if you change coaches, are you going to win? Are you going to win the series? No. I think it was a combination of, look, that roster was never put in place. They made a trade for the future. They traded an aging Anthony Davis for a 25-year-old Luka Doncic, and then attempted to build a little bit around the new roster with the Mark Williams trade that gets nixed. And then, none of that rebuilding process got a chance to take place. So it can be both. It can be a little bit of excuse making on the Lakers side and a little bit of, well, this wasn't a finished product. And, the Wolves are a 6th seed, but they had a bad start to the season. They came on kind of late. And you'll remember there was a point in time during the last postseason, a brief point in time, where the Minnesota Timberwolves were the favorites to win it all during the postseason. When they were up 2-0 on Denver, they were favored slightly ahead of the Celtics. Like, that's what this core, and I know they made some changes with the Karl Anthony Towns deal, but like, that's what this core is capable of. If you tell me the Timberwolves are going to win the West, I would not blink at that.
Now we are in an interesting spot, speaking of last year, because of what the Pacers showed us. And it's tough because I want to sit here and beat my chest over the fact that the Indiana Pacers aren't getting enough love. And I think we could sit there and say the same thing about the Timberwolves. Look at their ATS, look at their straight up record in the past 2 first-round series, last year against the Suns and this year against the Lakers. 8-1, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the numbers were. So, I want to give these guys the credit, and even more so. But unfortunately, who's next? That's where it starts and ends. And maybe for the Timberwolves, it's a little easier than the Pacers going up against the Cavs. But where do we stand on that conversation? Because there's got to be, we need to give them a little bit more credit. They deserve it. They smacked down their opponents. The fact that the Pacers did what they did against the Milwaukee Bucks, I know that they were favored, but there seemed to be a lot of people on the Bucks. And then now the T-Wolves, are we giving them a shot against the Warriors? Do you have an idea what that number would be as far as a series price is concerned? If
That's
it's the Warriors.
Question. I haven't thought about the price. I don't know if I can fully come up with it on the spot, but all right. How do we think Minnesota compares to Houston? Minnesota's got to be priced higher than Houston. So it's shorter than the -200 that Golden State was against Houston, assuming they get through there. So I would think it's priced pretty similar. The Lakers and Warriors were priced similarly in futures markets coming in. So I would think it's Minnesota, a short dog like they were against the Lakers, and I would have a lot of interest in Minnesota.
Both of them right now, real quick on this on DraftKings Sportsbook, to win the championship, T-Wolves +1,700, Warriors +1,700.
Okay, yeah. So, right. And the Wolves have advanced and the Warriors haven't. So
that's true too.
That tells you that the Warriors are power rated slightly ahead of Minnesota. But given that they've advanced, they're equally priced right now. But that's a good call out. So yeah, that makes me pretty confident as we talk through this on the spot. That Minnesota would be roughly the same size underdog that they were against the Lakers against Golden State.
All right. Now I did just
They would have home
officially
court, though. That's different because the Warriors are the 7th seed. They would have home court. So
Mm.
that plays a little bit of a role as well.
Wow. That is intriguing. Well, as I just poured dirt on the Houston Rockets, that was another game last night that took place, and it's now going out to the Bay. Do you think that's going 7, or do you think that's all she wrote, essentially, that the Warriors were content with losing somewhat last night? They never want to lose a playoff game. I get it, but they were laughing on the bench. It was all S and G's last night, and then they got smoked. So maybe they're saving a little bit for Game 6. Do you think this is going 7 in your mind?
Yeah, loved the spot last night for the Rockets and played them early in that game. Now, clearly, like you said, Golden State was content packing that in and saying, let's get ready for a Game 6 that they probably treat like a Game 7 type of game at home. They're already kind of treating it like a Game 7 with how they packed it in last game. So it's going to be tough with what we've seen in this series to say that the Rockets are going to find a way to get that game on the road. I've got Houston plus 1.5 games. That series spread just get me to 7, but I don't feel great about the spot that they're in. It feels just Houston's a good team. They feel a little too young, getting their feet wet, one piece away. Jalen Green's been bad, and I don't think he's going to be good on the road here. And they need that star like Anthony Edwards type of player, and Jalen Green isn't that. And I don't think he's good. I don't think he's going to develop to that. So it feels like they're one piece away. It's tough to say Houston's going to win that game, but maybe they can surprise us. They match up very well. It's going to come down to the Warriors making shots.
I don't know if you guys remember, but during the Warriors championship run in 2022, in that second round series, they played the Grizzlies and the Warriors ended up winning in 6. But Game 5, the Warriors lost by like something almost 40 points, and they just completely packed it up. And then they went back home and won Game 6, took care of that series in 6, and ended up winning the championship. That game felt like last night, where Steve Kerr in the middle of the third quarter was like, all right, we're going to call this one early, give our guys some extra rest. We're going back home, that we are going to treat like a Game 7, because that is everything in that Game 6. And it kind of just felt like that to me. So I'm not really concerned about that result at all. I don't really have a problem with them quitting, for lack of a better term, like they did yesterday. But I'm with Julian in the sense that this half-court offense for the Rockets has just been so disastrous. And I get what they are from a physicality standpoint, defensive standpoint, but their half-court offense has been so bad. I don't see a way the Warriors are losing Game 6.
Yeah, and Jalen Green was a guy I had my eyes on. We rolled out the prop yesterday. I took a shot at 20+. I think he finished with 11. Yeah, it's just like, look, if he shows up and balls out like he did the one game.
It's 38 in Game 2.
Yeah, but it's not inconsistent is even the term I would use to describe him. All right. Again, it's funny because it's like so many good topics that we could continue to talk about that took place yesterday. JJ Redick, LeBron, Luka going home. How do you rebuild? But Julian, we got 2 Game 6s tonight. So I'm curious. I'll leave it open-ended to you. You can go anywhere you want. Will we see either one of these series get closed out tonight? Or do you think we'll see a couple Game 7s? Where are you at on this one?
I do think the Knicks close out. I took the Knicks plus 1.5 on the road. Great win in Game 5 with their backs against the wall by the Pistons. I had over 5.5 games in the series, which has now cashed. That would have been a tough loss if the Knicks win a nail biter in Game 5, because this has been a super competitive series. So, it feels like it should be going deep and now has. Everybody seems to love Detroit now with the momentum going back home. Unbelievably, the Pistons have not won a home playoff game since Game 4 of the 2008 Eastern Conference Finals.
Unbelievable.
Which is nuts against the Celtics. Celtics then won Game 5 at home and clinched the series Game 6 in Detroit to go to the NBA Finals. That's wild. Not that it has anything to do with tonight. The Pistons can certainly win a game as a favorite at home. I just I'm buying into the back and forth of this series. Every game has been close, so late game execution is going to be huge. Even the one that the Knicks won by double digits, they needed a big comeback to get it there. It was a close game. So I took the 1.5 with the Knicks. I think it'll be another nail biter, and I'm trusting New York's kind of experience and grit to get it over a Pistons team that is impressed.
I love that we have Knicks, Pistons, and then Clippers, Nuggets pretty much every night the last since these series started, because these are my two favorite series. So these are my favorite nights over the last week and a half of watching Knicks, Pistons right into Nuggets, Clippers.
Yeah, you're watching Chris Cuomo last night. Come on, man.
Well, that was in between. I was watching Chris Cuomo because
that
was in the fourth quarter of the Warriors game. I told you.
So strange.
What? Well,
that was on the CW Philly.
Well, it's News Nation is their network.
Oh,
they had Trump on, and Stephen A. Smith and Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly were interviewing Trump.
Legends,
it was the third. It was once they subbed everyone out in the Warriors game. I was like, I'm moving on. Give me some break before the Lakers Wolves game. So that was my little politics. Whatever.
Yes.
But to my point is that we have Knicks, Pistons, and then Nuggets, Clippers, which are my two favorite series. I've been of the mindset that the Clippers are winning this in 7. I have that. And I haven't wavered one bit, even after the last 2 games that the Nuggets won. Where are you on tonight's matchup between the Nuggets and the Clippers? Clippers 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I really liked the Clippers last game and was dead wrong on that. I thought they would respond from the Aaron Gordon dunk. You're right. This is the other, outside of Knicks Pistons, super competitive series. And I like the way the Clippers match up against Denver. Now, if Jamal Murray's going to go for 40, then they're going to have a tough time. Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, specifically Kawhi, though, need to get back to what they were doing more early in the series. We don't want to see another Kawhi postseason flame out, which is how every postseason has seemed to end for the Clippers. So I'm going to buy into them as big favorites here at home. And I do think the home court advantage is something for the Clippers in this series, even though it ended poorly in game 4. So it's a big number, though. But I think the last time we talked about this, we talked about how big the number was game 2, and the Clippers dominated. So I don't mind laying it with the Clippers. I haven't gotten there yet. I would love to use them as a money line parlay leg. I would like to say look at them on the double result, -140 to lead at half and win the game, but they've been coming out with these poor starts and having to come back. I don't know if I can go there either. So it's Clippers for me. I just haven't quite figured out how yet.
Why is that number what it is? You just brought it up, and it went down, I think, last night, 5.5, back to 6.5. Like, is that, like, these have been really good games. I know that we saw a 15-point victory last game. But, Denver went on the road and won in LA at the buzzer. These have been really competitive spots in a game 6. I just feel like 6.5, that's a lot of points. Any idea why we're seeing that? Were you surprised by that number?
No, it's just, it's the power rated numbers and then add a point at certain times for desperation. The Knicks were 6.5, 7 every game at MSG. Now you come off back-to-back, like 1-2-point home losses, and now it's 5.5. That's your 1 point for desperation for the Pistons last night. Now it's kind of the same thing. Like, should this be 5.5, 6? Sure, but Clippers are in desperation mode at home for their season, so you're gonna pay a little tax there. Now, doesn't mean the tax is always right. The tax was there last night on Houston. It was right. The tax was there last night on the Lakers. It was wrong. It doesn't mean anything. It's just how it works these days when you're making numbers in the NBA. So I wouldn't waver. Like, if you like the Clippers 5.5, you should like them 6.5. It's, tough if it lands 6, but that's just kind of how the numbers work when you get later in the series in the postseason.
All right. And as Julian said, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook, we already went over the numbers. Pistons, 1.5 favorite. That's your first game at 7:35, 10:05 p.m. Clippers 6.5, 211.5 is our total in that one. Just to let you know, tomorrow night at 9:05, we got that game 6 in the Bay, 5-point spread. Warriors are favored right now. 204 is our total in that one. But I want to skip that because we jabbed at it. Let's talk about the one series coming up that we do have numbers on. It's between the Pacers and the Cavs. This is a great one for you because you know how good the Cavs are. Will the Pacers give them a run? And again, I you made it sound real easy, and I understand you're right with your terminology and how they come up with these numbers. But like, is it fair to say that the Pacers are being massively disrespected? It feels like the odds makers are giving them no shot.
Yeah, a little bigger than I thought. I knew it would be big. These numbers always come out with the elite teams and kind of surprise you. Like, wow, look how big of favorites they are. I've grown accustomed to it here with the Celtics coming out. Like, what's the first round going to be against Orlando? I'm like, I don't know, -3,000, 4,000. It comes out 6,000, 8,000. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, what's the difference? Who's laying that anyway? But like a series like this should get more competitive. And yeah, I thought it would be maybe Cavs like -350, 400, and it came out 5. Little steep. Like I said, dude, like, does it make me think the Pacers have a better chance to win the series? Like, no. So I don't want to get roped into backing the Pacers because I'm getting a better number than I anticipated. However, when we get numbers that you say are maybe off on a series, okay, now the series spread might be off in something that you can interest me in. So last I looked, Pacers getting 2.5 games and or the series to go over 5.5 games is like -140 range. I think this will be competitive. Just kind of same analysis as Knicks Pistons that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I don't think this is a 5-game series. Pacers have had success in the regular season against Cleveland. It's not all equal, of course. The regular season games, the guys are in and out. The Cavs had the 1 seed locked up forever ago and could check out for some of those games. It's not apples to apples, but Indy's playing well, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they can get 2 games here. So I'm good with Pacers plus 2.5 games.
I actually fired already on a Cavs 4-2 plus 450. I believe the number I got was for Cavs to win 4-2. I could see them taking care of it. You know, I'm pretty confident in this Cleveland team. I could see them taking care of it in 5, but I'm with Julian where I think the Pacers get 2, so I took Cavs 4-2 plus 450.
Well, Julian, I know you know a thing or two about the Boston Celtics. One thing that I was floating yesterday, and it already proved to be true, is that Cavaliers number came down to win the East. The Boston Celtics were as high as, I think it's minus, am I wrong in that? -160 yesterday. I thought the Cavs were at plus 220 to win the East. They're now plus 170 to win the East on DraftKings. Boston -140. So, you know, look, I threw this out there yesterday. I said, I don't think you'll get a better price. Of course, if the Cavs and Boston are Eastern Conference Finals, you're not going to get a better price than that. So you need to hop on the Cavs there. Was I correct with that thought process in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, this has kind of been the price on the Celtics for a month or so now. It's nice that it keeps sitting there because you can make sure that nobody gets seriously injured and get back in. Like, it's the same, you know, they just won a series. And I think it was 145 before, and now it's 140 on the Celtics. You won a series, and you're down 5 cents in terms of your number to win the conference. I'm sticking with the Celtics, so you know I've got all that I need on that. But if you're looking to get in more, go ahead and re-up or get in for the first time. Yeah, I think that Indy's going to be a far tougher test for Cleveland than potentially the Knicks would be for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I do think Orlando, just matchup wise, and they had so many guys miss so many games. Like, that's not a true 7 seed in my mind. That's where they were last year, playing Cleveland in the first round, I think in that 4-5. Like, Orlando's a 3-4-5 in the East and matches up well with the Celtics. They have going back 3-4 years now. So I think the Celtics had a tougher time with Orlando than they will with a Detroit or New York series. I'm not saying that means a sweep because this team always seems to drop a game. The Celtics, that is. So it'll be Celtics in 5 for me, kind of regardless of opponent, would be my projection there. If it is the Knicks, one of my bigger bets of the postseason will be Celtics -2.5 games, assuming I can get that. That wasn't really a number you could bet against Orlando. Against the Knicks, I assume it will. But looking at it, like if Cleveland, if you know, the Cleveland number I think is plus 120 or whatever on laying 2.5 games. If I can get the Celtics in like the -140 neighborhood laying 2.5 games, I'm good with that. That's what I'm looking ahead to, I guess. See how tonight goes.
Yeah, we had some people in here talking about a sweep of the Boston Celtics over the Knicks.
They own
we all know who that was.
yeah, they do.
They own the Knicks. They had that game late in the season that Jaylen Brown started sitting out that went into overtime that the Celtics eventually won. But the other ones they got smoked. And a lot of it comes down to 3-point shoot. Like, one thing Orlando did really well, the fewest threes the Celtics attempted in the regular season was 33. Of course, it happened to be against Orlando. Orlando didn't allow them to take threes in this series. They had 3 games where they took under 33, I think it was, and the 2 others were 37. So, like, they don't let them do that. You look at the numbers against the Knicks. I should have pulled these up, but it's like 29 for 61 from downtown. That was the season opener when they went bonkers. But the other ones are all like 17 for 44, 19 for 49 type of games. Like, if they're going to let them bomb away and get quality volume looks, that's not going to go well for the Knicks.
And the Magic can load up on shooters and take away the 3-point line because they have such great, big, athletic, one-on-one individual defenders. The Knicks absolutely do not have that. I mean, we know what McHale and OG are on the wing, but from 1 through 5, they just don't have that personnel defensively that the Magic have. Plus, the Knicks are also had to go back to Detroit, assuming, which I think they will take care of business tonight, after playing a really physical, tough series where a lot of guys were in and out with injuries, at least in and out of games. With Jalen Brunson's left every game almost, it seems like, with an injury. So it's just going to be really tough for them against Boston.
All right, quickly on this, Julian. Once again, people are just tuning in. We'll be giving away those tickets in just a second here. But Julian, your favorite play for tonight? 2 game 6s. Once again, if you had to pick one for our listening audience, your favorite play tonight is what?
Yeah, I don't quite know how to back the Clippers yet. So the one that I have put in and put out is Knicks plus 1.5. Again, it's been a zigzag series. It's been a go against the grain type of series. And I think that continues. I think the Knicks with their backs against the wall are not the Knicks without their backs against the wall when everybody thinks that Detroit needs to get the home game is where it kind of goes the other way. And it would be big for the Knicks as well. The series is set in stone. Game 1 in Boston is Monday night, whether this series goes 6 or 7 games. So the Knicks, like the Brunson injuries, could use that rest. As much as anyone. Now the Celtics are going to go from playing on Tuesday to Monday. They need that rest as well. So it's not like you're at too much of an advantage because you're going to be getting a Celtics team with 6 days off that's a little dinged up. But still, nonetheless, they could use the rest.
All right. Anytime I need something in the Boston sports world, I go right to Julian, and I have just one quick one for you. And I know this is going to be really uncomfortable, but I have to ask you, what is going on with Bill Belichick?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have a guess?
Anyone?
Do you have a guess?
I don't think I think this has really turned into a bleep storm. Yes. I don't think it's like quite as bad as it's probably being projected now. Where he's like this old senile man and she's just behind the scenes making all the decisions.
He was sharp with McAfee last year. He was good.
I mean, I think Bill, I think everything up here still works with Bill Belichick. Like,
apparently everything still works with them.
Yeah.
Just
he's up
here and down there. Up here and down there.
I'll keep it classy, unlike others. He's a capable, sharp mind still. He's absolutely lost his fastball, but he's a capable, sharp mind still. Now, that doesn't mean things are going to go well at UNC. This is turning into a little bit of a mess. I'm starting to look at that under 7.5 at plus money.
I like that.
The only thing I'll say is that I don't think it's probably quite as bad as it's being perceived. However, the man ran a 20-year dynasty preaching near or at the top of the list to eliminate distractions. And he now has the largest distraction attached right at the hip.
Great.
So my one message would be practice what you preach there with all of that. Yeah,
well
I
said.
don't know what else to add.
Well said. I'll give you the correct answer on that one. Very nice work, Julian Edlow. As always, nobody does it better than you. Just to let everybody know, UNC 2.5-point favorites Monday, September 1st against TCU. 59.5 is your total on that one. DraftKings Sportsbook with the early number out there.
Do we know what Jordan's going to dial up defensively?
It's a good question.
You got a huge distraction right there. Like layups for everybody.
He's going to have a headset on.
Take the Horned Frogs, baby. All right, Julian, you're the best. Good luck on those plays. As always, we'll get you content over there with the folks over at DK Nation. And you can find Julian all one word on Network. Did I say Nation?
It slips up for me too. DraftKings Network.
DraftKings Network and Julian Edlow on socials. All one word. Mandatory follow if you don't already. Julian, you're the best. Good luck on those plays. We'll catch up next week, sir.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
My man, there he is once again on the Gambler Stream. All right, the time has come for us to give away a pair of tickets to Let me run that back. Come on. There you go. Oh, that's intense right there. That's the intense game show music. The Truist Championship in our backyard, just a couple miles down the road, Sam Ostry. We will be there broadcasting live on Friday.
Beautiful course.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the best in the area.
In the country.
Oh, no doubt about it. Once again, bringing top PGA Tour players like Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas to the Philadelphia Cricket Club Wissahickon course all next week, May 8th through the 11th. Even Paige is going to be there.
Paige who?
Spearneck? Spearneck. Spearneck's like a candy. All right. If you are looking to win a pair of tickets, now is the time to call the Gambler Hotline. 610-784-0502. I'll repeat it nice and slow for you. 610-784-0502. First one to the contest line, we will punch you up, and you will have an opportunity to win a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship. We are playing birdie or bogey. 3 questions. You got to get 2 of them right, and you're going to next week's Truist Championship. And folks, you're going to have an unforgettable experience because Michelob Ultra is rolling out the red carpet. They got the club as you're soaking in the action from the finishing holes, all while enjoying all the inclusive beer.
Inclusive beer, these
oh, yeah, seltzers and sodas, a variety of fun fan experiences. Local Philly bites. Tickets are selling fast. Get your tickets now at TruistChampionship.com unless you want to win them. Right here on the Gambler, other side, birdie or bogey. Line up now. More after this.
Great news. The cash contest is back. The Gambler wants to put some bonus bucks back in your pocket. All you have to do is keep it locked right here to the Gambler. And at the top of every hour, starting at 9 a.m., listen for the keyword and get over to our website at foxphlgambler.com and enter to win $1,000. That's 9 times a day. Be sure to set the Gambler up on your iHeartRadio app preset and tune in to win.
Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com, a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Everything you need all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com today. Rocket. Own the dream.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Dr. Joelle Mogerman, President and CEO of the Philadelphia Zoo. The mission of the zoo is to inspire these joyful memories and connect people with wildlife and animals to inspire conservation action so that we can make sure that animals persist and are a part of our healthy planet. The top priority is making sure that the zoo will shine for Philadelphia for 2026. That includes a new bear habitat, providing an overhead trail for our bears. And then after 2026, we want to make sure that the garden provides as much of an experience as the animals do. Being here, love that people in Philadelphia, in spite of its density, have planter boxes. So there's this affinity for nature. And I want to make sure that our local native wildlife is thriving, because when wildlife thrives, so do we. So I want the Philadelphia Zoo to lean into more local conservation as well, that engages various communities in that work to increase understanding so that wildlife and communities can thrive here in Philadelphia. The best way to check us out is through our website, philadelphiazoo.org. And then, of course, we are on all the social media channels. And our team does a great job of sharing our animal stories and telling you what's going on at the zoo.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about fun Mother's Day gifts, all for under $15? Get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. In-store only at Macy's Backstage today. Find a location near you at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
This is 11-year NBA veteran Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Thrivent.
The Phillies go for the sweep of the Nationals tonight and a fourth straight win. They'll have Taijuan Walker on the mound against Brad Lord. The Eagles declined to pick up guard Kenyon Green's fifth-year player option. That'll make him a free agent. And a couple of big Game 6s in the NBA playoffs tonight. The Knicks with a 3-2 lead on the Pistons. They go to Detroit to try to close them out. The Nuggets with the 3-2 lead as well. They'll battle the Clippers. That one's in L.A. I'm Scott Davidson.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Traffic barely moving eastbound Schuylkill Boulevard to Vine Expressway. Overturned vehicle crash has the two left lanes blocked. Also in the backlog at Montgomery Drive, there's a broke down truck in the left lane. Westbound Schuylkill calling Fair to the Vine Expressway and Boulevard to Belmont. Wire to Tella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all. Hey, it's Sean Brace, and we can help with everything from radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can even get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of it all, do yourself a favor right now. Call 844-844-iHeart or visit iHeartAdvertising.com today.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, BANG. That's BANG. Enter it now.
FoxPHLGambler.com. Once again, FoxPHLGambler.com right now.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
Well, you've come to the right place.
Hi.
You're listening to The Daily Ticket with Sean Brace. Right here on Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Yes, indeed. Riding with me here every Thursday is good friend, representing the squad over at The Score, part of the Gambler gang. One hell of addition, Sam Ostry. Sam, great to have you. How we
Great
doing?
to be here as always. We're doing great.
You trying to get to the Truist Championship too as well? If we
I
can
would
find
love
a
to.
pair of tickets.
Can you get me
Lane?
in?
Possibly. You never know.
We'll be there on Friday.
We are there
The whole
on
crew.
Friday. We're broadcasting live on Friday, and it is a hot ticket. I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of people are wondering how they can get tickets, and then folks are finding out that, you know what, they're pretty pricey, as well as they should be. It's the PGA Tour in our backyard.
Got the Masters champ coming through, Rory.
That's right, the great Rory McIlroy. So with that being said, we got ourselves a few tickets once again from the fine folks over there at Michelob Ultra Club. We are giving away a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship, and it's all taking place at the Philadelphia Cricket Club Wissahickon Course, May 8th through the 11th. And Michelob Ultra Club is representing big time with the all-inclusive beer, wine, seltzer, and sodas. Great Philadelphia bites. And you can get yourself a pair of tickets right now at truistchampionship.com. But we are opening up. We got the contest line fired up. A lot of people calling in. Let's go ahead and head out there right now. Caller, your name. You're joining the Daily Ticket. How we doing today, sir?
Hey, how are you guys?
What's your name, sir?
Zach.
Zach, great to have you. Zach, where you calling from?
Currently in New York City, but originally from the Main Line area, Lower Merion.
Oh, look at that, man. Social's been pumping it out, man. A lot of people have been checking out. We've been firing out there on the social platforms that we're giving away these tickets, and a lot of people have been asking if we're going to be doing more. We are, so make sure you're following at Fox PHL Gambler, including all you got to do is set the Gambler as a preset on your iHeartRadio app. But here's Zach for his opportunity to win a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship right here on the Daily Ticket. Zach, are you ready to play birdie or bogey, sir?
Let's get it. I'm very excited.
All right. Now, Sam, do you think Zach, if you just met him, you're hearing him right now, do you think he can actually pull this off in your mind?
I don't know. I kind of need to hear a little more energy, a little more excitement from Zach.
Really?
What's going on, Zach?
You know, it's a Thursday. I'm mentally focused in on the end of the work week tomorrow. But I'm locked in. I'm here. I'm present, and I'm very, very, very.
How
excited
badly
about
do you
the
want
game.
these tickets?
Yeah. How bad do you want these tickets, Zach?
It doesn't even reach the level of a Birds repeat this year, but I will say very, very, very badly. I'm looking for any excuse to take off work on Friday.
All right. 3 questions. All you got to do is get 2 of them right. We try to keep it simple here. We're trying to award the people with a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship. It's birdie or bogey. If you think the statement or question is true, obviously it's birdie, and you will hear the correct answer. If you think it is wrong, then you say bogey, and you will hear the, of course, wrong sounder. All right, pretty easy there, Zach. Let's go ahead and get to it. Question number 1, Rory McIlroy will be playing at the Truist Championship all next week. Rory's full name is Aurora McIlroy. Rory is short for Aurora. Is it birdie or bogey?
Bogey.
He says that is incorrect. Well, that is correct. Yes, Rory is his full name, not Aurora.
For 1.
All right, 1 for 1. Nice work there. All right.
Let's go.
Give you the roaring round of applause too as well. Question number 2, birdie or bogey? Tiger Woods turned pro at the ripe age of 20. A little difficult, but Tiger Woods, did he turn pro earlier than 20? Later than 20? Do you think that sounds about right? Birdie or bogey? Tiger Woods turned pro at the age of 20.
1996. I know this. Birdie.
Wow.
Look at this. Ladies and
He knows his
gentlemen,
golf.
boys and girls, Zach is going to the Truist Championship. Give it up for time. You're the man.
Amazing.
Congratulations. Our third one was pretty easy as well. A birdie means completing a hole one stroke under par, and that is also a birdie as well. Yeah. Pun intended. There you go. All right. Hey, Zach, congratulations, man. Here's the deal. I'm going to put you on hold. Get your information in about 2 minutes. We'll take a quick time out, step aside. But congratulations. Once again, you just won a pair of tickets. You're heading to the Truist Championship. All the top PGA Tour players like Rory, Justin Thomas will be at the Philadelphia Cricket Club with Zig, of course, May 8th through the 11th. Folks, if you want tickets right now, truistchampionship.com. Great job, Zach. Put you on hold. We'll get your information in just a second. But as always, man, thanks for listening to The Gambler. Tell a friend.
Of course, will do. Thank you, guys.
Boom, there he is. Zach on the Gambler stream and Gambler hotline, and he has just won a
Congratulations to Zach.
Nice work there by Zach.
That's awesome. That's a hot ticket.
Yes, hot ticket. We'll be doing it on Monday. The same thing. We're going to be doing a game show on Monday, live here on the Daily Ticket with me. However, right now, folks, if you want a pair of tickets, at Fox PHL Gambler and at Sean_Brace. Yesterday, I put out a tweet. Simply put, we have the iHeartRadio app. It is a big push from company-wide, and it makes a lot of sense to lock us in as a preset. The brand new iHeartRadio app, they just reconstructed it. It's awesome. You can scan. It's very similar to just like your car radio. It really is. Give it an opportunity if you don't have. Download it now. It's free. And all you have to do is lock the Gambler in as a preset. Screenshot, tweet me and the Gambler station. You'll see that tweet underneath it, and we're going to randomly select somebody on Monday as well. All right, so go ahead, tell your girlfriend to get involved. You can go get involved. Your father-in-law, your dad, your brother, sister, cousin, doesn't matter. If you want a pair of tickets, all you got to do is download the iHeartRadio app and make the Gambler a preset, screenshot it, send it in. Bing, bang, boom. My daughter says that now. It's so
bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang, boom. That's
At least she's not saying bing bong. That's what it would get bad.
Joining us right now, a man that is definitely not saying bing bong.
Absolutely not.
He would never.
Look at this guy. He travels with a microphone. I love this.
I
man.
can't see
Right.
him. What are you looking like right now, Bernard?
Man. Sean Bernard, fresh off the golf course, got 18 in today.
That's right. So if Rory McIlroy or any of the boys there over the Truist need some driving tips next week, I'm around. Just let that be known.
Can we get a number?
Well, hang on. Before we get a number, you never played. You're not a golfer. You just took your first lesson last week, correct?
Yeah, correct. So this was
you never dabbled in golf, never played before, nothing?
Today was my 4th time playing 18 in my life.
Okay, 4th time playing 18 in your life. Have you ever broken 100 before today?
That was the goal for today, and your boy ended at 101.
What? You got a 101 on your 4th time ever playing golf?
Nice job, dude.
I'm telling you, I've been to the driving range heavy these past couple weeks.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Dude, wait, that's a huge deal.
Huge deal. Good for you.
That's really hard to even come close to that.
Dude, I've been playing 20 plus years and I shoot a 95, 96 every time I take. Now I took
my
a
goal
lesson.
this summer is to break 100. It's hard. I've never done it in my career.
I broke 90 like 3 times.
I got a good driver. It's all the other stuff that I can't do, like the wedges and irons and all that. I got no clue on that.
The important stuff.
Wow, I'm impressed, Bernard. I'm impressed.
I took a lesson. I took a lesson last week. Green Valley. Shout out my guy Eric Mahoney, and he's got me hitting this thing pure.
Love that.
I'm breaking 90 this weekend. I promise you.
Love it.
You should be in the Truist.
Yeah. I wanted to be there on Wednesday. I could just be there Wednesday with Paige. I'm good. I kid. All right. Sean Bernard. Now we could continue to talk about your golf game, and that's all great, but that's not why you're here.
That's right.
You're actually here because I want to talk a little bit about the Detroit Pistons New York Knicks game 6 tonight.
The game.
Once again, the game in the Motor City. And Julian just joined us, who you know very well over at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, yeah.
And he says this is a spot that the Knicks will end the series at +1.5 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Sam Ostry has been back in the Knicks. Matter of fact, I had to ask him to take off his Josh Hart jersey before he entered the studio.
I'm literally wearing a Sixers penny, whatever you call it, whatever this is.
The pullover.
Q-zip. We're a Sixers
there you go.
Q-zip. Enough of I'm a Knicks fan talk from all you guys.
However,
I just like this team.
Sean Bernard did cash the over 5.5.
He did. He got
right.
there.
So he's 1-0 as far as series bets are concerned, but that's not good enough for us here with the Gambler Gang. We got a big game 6 tonight. So let's put something on it, because I know that you're going to be back in the Pistons to force this back to MSG for game 7. I'm in your corner. I want a game 7 at MSG where, man, then the Lemon Booty will be all present over that arena. Tight. With that being said, it is a 1.5 point spread here. So, let's put that to the side. Who cares about the number? We're just picking straight up here. Sean Bernard is going to take the Detroit Pistons. Sam Ostry is taking the New York Knicks to put an end to this. Let's put something on the line. What do you say, boys?
Let's do it.
I love it. I had a couple thoughts driving home too, trying to think of what a fair wager would be. So I struggled on the just New York department here. So I went to the Knicks roster. I could have to take a diving lesson a la Jalen Brunson there. I could have to go through a physical therapy lesson a la OG Anunoby there. But what I came up with, what I think is probably a good one here that I'm willing to stake on the line, I have to run for 48 minutes straight as a tribute to Tom Thibodeau here. So you can clock, you can set mileage on it. I think it's 48 minutes on the clock I have to run.
Wow.
That's good. But I want higher stakes.
Okay.
Higher
I mean,
stakes
think
than
about
48 minutes?
think about a marathon. Guys who run the marathons, those guys are running for hours.
He's
straight.
not ready to go for a marathon.
I don't think I got a marathon in me right now.
That's a 5K, 48 minutes.
It's not that crazy to run 48 minutes straight.
Can you run 48 minutes
no,
right now?
but this guy played soccer. He's supposed to run 48 minutes
All right,
straight.
he's got a point. All right, so what are you thinking here?
Let's make it interesting with a bar, right? Let's put you in a Celtics jersey because you hate the Knicks, right?
All right.
Let's find a New York bar.
First of all, green Celtics jersey.
It's just as bad.
All
Right?
right.
Me hating the Knicks certainly doesn't make me a Celtics fan.
No. But assuming the Knicks advance tonight, they'll play the Celtics next round. You have to go to a bar, a New York bar in Philadelphia, and rep a Celtics jersey and just be an obnoxious, act like you're some obnoxious Celtics fan in a New York bar.
We're gonna have to send security with you.
For real. Yeah, I'm gonna need to roll squad deep with that one.
We're gonna have to sign a waiver on that one, I would imagine, from the iHeartRadio folks. But I like where your mind's at, Sam. Sean, are you comfortable with that?
I can accept that. I'm okay with that. The Pistons are winning anyway, so but yes, I will accept those terms.
All right, all on Game 6 tonight. So that's if it ends and the Knicks win. Sean Bernard next week has to go to a bar in Philadelphia that hosts New York fans, New York Knicks for watch parties, and you got to rep the green jersey for the Boston Celtics. I like that. Now, what if this happens the other way?
I mean, there's no point of even discussing it because it's not even a possibility that the Pistons win tonight. But I'm open to ideas.
Sean Bernard, do you have anything in your mind for Sam Ostry? Detroit, Motor City, cars come to my mind.
We did toss out an idea of an oil change for my car. Sam, are you a car guy here?
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
So my fear for
one
this
tire in my life. I've changed the tire.
My fear for this is I feel like there's a punishment on my own car.
Yeah, I mean, the car may I'm not paying for whatever happens after that, but I'll do it.
So, okay. So that doesn't work then. I don't think. Detroit, I also like the pizza idea here. We could go a direct pizza bet here, Detroit style versus New York style.
All right.
What is it involved?
Yeah, what's the Detroit style pizza?
I don't know if I've ever had
Detroit's it's the thick crust.
Chicago and New York.
Daisy Tavern has a great one in Conshohocken, just saying.
True.
Go ahead.
True.
Yeah.
I will say I'm a pizza man at heart too. I spent 5 years working at a pizza place. I'm willing to be make a New York style pizza if that's on the table. If we want to go Detroit versus New York there.
I like the bar angle, so let's stay with that. You don't want to change. I say we stick with the oil change. I do. I'd like to see Sam's hand getting dirty, changing Sean Bernard's oil. You said you needed oil change, right?
True. That checks
What
out.
does it even look like? Like, what do you do for
it's
an oil
meant
change?
to be. Well, you know what? YouTube is definitely where you need to go on that one. Okay.
Yeah. I'll have supervision so don't mess anything up.
I like this, boys. I like this. This is good. This is good. So here it is once again for the folks that are just joining us. Sam Ostry is backing the New York Knicks to put an end to this series. If that happens tonight, straight up, no point spread involved, Sean Bernard has to rock a Boston Celtics jersey to a New York Knicks watch party next week. We'll set that up. We'll make that happen. I know that there are New York-esque bars that do host those type of fans. Of course, with Villanova, all that. We understand how that works. And on the flip side, if Detroit extends this series, Sam Ostry's got to get his hands dirty and change Sean Bernard's oil. This is good. I like this.
I like
this
it. I'm in.
good. Nice.
Let's do it.
All right. Nice work across the board.
And it's an even bet because it's really a 1.5 point spread.
It's true.
So it's not like the Knicks are like -6.5 or something. I mean, this is as toss up a pick 'em of a game as you can get.
Correct.
As has the series been.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not disagreeing.
I want Detroit to win. I think they're going to win tonight. And I just think it's going to play out a lot like it has throughout the course of the series, and it's going to go 7, right? It has a good vibe that this should go 7.
I mean, that's what we thought with Philadelphia last year, too. And the Knicks wrapped it up in 6. And that was a really competitive series. Most of the games really good, down to the wire. Could have gone either way.
That's true.
So that's the vibe I'm getting. But look, the Knicks don't look good by any stretch. I've been really disappointed with them and their coach. So
Really?
I'm not too confident.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know you've been disappointed with
Yeah,
their
I've
play.
been really disappointed.
Okay. I actually give Detroit a little bit more credit than you don't. You think the Knicks have played a little bit down.
Yeah, I think the Knicks they're not maximizing the talent that they have. And I think they've matched Pistons' physicality, which was the big question coming in. I think they've done a good job with that, which was the Pistons' identity, is how tough and physical they are. I think the Knicks have matched that. They are just not maximizing the offensive talent they have on the floor. And so I think Thibs, if they lose this series, and I've been saying for a while because of the personal dynamics within that organization, Thibs is not going anywhere. But the owner may step in at that point because he's been a disaster this series.
But to your point though, Sam, this is not a season or a series specific issue with not maximizing the guys that they have on the floor. This has been a Knicks issue all season. They've still played like Jalen Brunson ISO ball. Like I kind of had a back and forth, as has been the case throughout the Knicks series, about like the breakdown with these teams. I would argue there's not a coaching advantage in favor of the Knicks. And JB Bickerstaff hasn't been excellent by any means, but I think there's more flaws that you can point to for what Tom Thibodeau is doing with this season or with this team and the lack of, I guess, what he's juiced out of them based on the talent that he has.
Yeah, look, I've been critical of how he's been using, and you know this, I've been critical of how he's been using Mikal Bridges all year. He's been completely underutilized. But this series specifically, just the Brunson Cat pick and rolls are way down. I mean, those numbers from the regular season compared to now, and I get the reasoning when Tobias Harris is guarding Cat. I get all that, but just the numbers of those pick and rolls that those guys are using together, and pick and pop, really, which are two of the more dynamic pick and pop players in the league. Those have been way down. You would think that Mikal Bridges would have a bigger role just based on the fact that Jalen Brunson is getting killed every time he's bringing up the floor. So I get it. You were right about what they were showing throughout the regular season. I didn't think they had a championship run in them. But against this Pistons team and the adjustments that Tom Thibodeau is not making, that's why I've been so disappointed.
All right, give me a 20. Give me a 20.
Okay.
Sean Bernard normally joins us Thursdays at 5 o'clock, full picks and roll. Obviously, he's on the road. He had to tear up a golf course today, so that's all right. But with that, while we have you here, give me 60 seconds. We got Mark Henry Jr. coming up at 4:30. 60 seconds on Game 6, Nuggets and Clippers. 6.5. We'll start and end there. Your thoughts on the spread?
Myself, I kind of think Denver rolls here. I think the Clippers have thrown in the towel, and I've been a Clippers supporter. I had belief in this team, but I had straight up nightmares watching that version of this Clippers team the past game. I saw James Harden throw in the towel in the same exact way he did in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform. Attempting 4 shots in a first half is unacceptable, and even a guy like Kawhi, who is clearly the superior talent out of the two of them on that Clippers roster, he's not a guy to exactly rally the troops and inspire people with, like, the emotion that he plays with there. I didn't see it from him. I do think there's something to this Nuggets team having a little bit of championship pedigree that this Clippers team just lacks. And I do unfortunately think that that's going to show up again tonight.
Wow. 6.5. He's rolling with the Nuggets. Money line plus 230.
Yep. I think it ends tonight.
All right. Sam Ostry, your thoughts on that game tonight?
Complete other side. Like we had been a lot. Another bet. I don't feel that. Actually, I actually feel way more strong that the Clippers win tonight.
I got a great one for LA.
6.5. Fly me out there right now. I'd love to.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with Kelly Drive. Yes, and a tank top. Dye that hair blonde. Yeah, now we're cooking.
Yep.
I kid. But anyways, you do think the other way. You like the Clippers tonight, minus 6.5?
Yeah, minus 6.5. I think they roll. And I always had this series going 7. I definitely, and I haven't wavered from that at all. I still think Clippers in 7. I don't disagree with anything Sean has said about James Harden. I mean, he knows that, obviously.
It's a shame because it felt like he was doing more this year. He
was great. He was and he's probably going to make All NBA. So he had a really good season. And that's most of his seasons have been really good seasons.
All NBA.
Yep.
He should be a lock for it. Second or third. I would argue second.
And that's of all of his seasons have gone where he's been awesome during the regular season. In the playoff, he's a no-show. The thing with this team is why I picked the Clippers, handicapping into it that James Harden could have some of these games in big moments. I didn't think it would matter as much because Kawhi Leonard, I thought, was playing at an all-NBA level. Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac, Derek Jones, Chris Dunn, who hasn't been great offensively, but it was pretty good last game, at least from 3. I thought those guys were enough to lift James Harden up. So I didn't think you have to rely on him as much. And that's why I'm back in the Clippers tonight, which I think this is a classic Kawhi elimination game when everything's on the line. I would take Kawhi's over points, which I believe is 24.5 right now. I think he goes for at least 30, and he's the obvious best player on the floor tonight, on a floor with Nikola Jokic. And so it's not really as much about James Harden. It's more about the Clippers. It's Ty Lue is the better coach in this series, and I think the Clippers end up winning in 7, which of course means rolling tonight.
All right. 2 games, 2 game 6s. A lot of fun on our television screens this evening, all getting started at 7:30. DraftKings Sportsbook, where we're getting our odds from at this point in time. And Sean Bernard live on the road joining us. You can also find his content over at dknetwork.com. Sean, we'll catch up tomorrow, record early in the morning for a Picks and Roll live and recapping all of it. And once again, got my eyes on this battle between Detroit and New York. Oil change versus Boston Celtics jersey in a New York bar.
2 very different bets.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, true. I'm surprised. I thought the 48-minute run was going to get you guys fired up for it, but no worries. I'm still in for the bar.
Yeah, the
bar to be in pretty good shape, Sean.
It wouldn't be easy for me. Don't get me wrong. Like I would be struggling out there, but I can do it for sure.
All right. Yeah, there's not much that you can't do. Just ask yourself. That's all you got to do is ask.
If you're not going to believe in yourself, Sean Braze, who else is?
I love it.
Spitting.
Well, good luck tonight. I'm on your side because I want to see this go 7. So, and I also want to see Sam get his hands dirty. I think that's a good idea. Good. Always good to catch up with Sean. We'll talk tomorrow. Good luck on the play tonight.
Sounds good. Go Pistons.
There he is. Go Pistons. Detroit basketball. All right. I have yet to talk to Mark Henry Jr. about the NFL draft that took place over the weekend. He's been a little bit all over the country with his full-time job. It'd be great if we could turn this into a full-time job.
Can I hit you with breaking news real quick?
What do you got?
Not really important, but still breaking news. Pacers front office decides Tyrese Halliburton's father will not attend any more home or road games for the foreseeable future.
You had to do something.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I would have just put him in a different seat so he doesn't have access to the court. But that's pretty drastic. That's pretty drastic.
Some of these people can't help themselves, right? They built
can't
his
run down
following.
6 rows.
Everyone knows who he is. You see him in the building.
It's true.
So just say, you know what? You've earned a suspension. We love you, but enjoy the games. Watch. He'll probably flip it and turn it into a watch party. Watch the game with old man Halliburton. He'll make a big bag from it.
Yeah,
you got to love America. All right, Daily Ticket rolling on. Mark Henry Jr. talking NFL draft on the other side. More after this.
We don't just watch the playoffs. We bet the hell out of them. The time to shine is now.
Here comes Halliburton driving in the lane at the goal. He lays it in.
Never miss a minute of NBA playoff action right here on The Gambler. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Heads up if your travels take you into Center City. There's a demonstration underway in the area of City Hall and a bunch of road closures around that. I'd avoid the area if you can. On the Schuylkill eastbound, stop and go Blue Route to Belmont, then Crawley Boulevard to the Vine Expressway with a crash. The 2 left lanes are blocked. Also in the backlog near Montgomery Drive, there's a broken down tractor trailer in the left lane. Westbound Schuylkill, Crawley University to Jawarden Boulevard to Belmont. 95 northbound, stop and go Vine Expressway up to Bridge. Lara Totella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
How about a look behind the curtain at Philadelphia 76ers basketball with the 76ers Insiders podcast?
I'm Sixers team reporter Lauren Rosen.
And I'm Matt Murphy, Sixers reporter and voice of the Delaware Bluecoats.
We're in the building for each game, at home and on the road, and ready to react to every Sixers win and beyond with you here on the 76ers Insiders podcast.
Listen to 76ers Insiders on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app, search 76ers Insiders, and start listening.
Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com, a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com today. Rocket, own the dream.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Dr. Joelle Mogerman, President and CEO of the Philadelphia Zoo.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Roots Picnic is back May 31st and June 1st at the Man in Fairmount Park in Philadelphia.
Hold on, wait a minute.
D'Angelo, Lenny Kravitz, Meek Mill, The Roots, Glorilla, Miguel, Thames, Kaytranada, Lotto, Music Soul Child, Jeezy, 2 Chainz, and many more. For tickets and info, head to rootspicnic.com. Presented in partnership with Live Nation Urban.
This is your Thursday Sports Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
NBA playoffs, 2 games tonight, 2 more potential series-ending games. In Detroit, Pistons host the New York Knicks. Knicks a 3-2 series lead. A win tonight, and this thing is over. Pistons, though, a 2.5-point home favorite. Over under total points, 212.5 in Los Angeles. Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets. Clippers trying to avoid elimination and even up the series at 3 games apiece. Clippers a 6.5-point home favorite. Over under total, also 212.5. Nikola Jokic over under total points, 26.5. Rebounds, 12.5. Over under assists for the Joker, 9.5.
New BetMGM customers can download the app today using code MINUTE to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if they don't win their first bet. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus to wager. New customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Yeah. This is the Daily Ticket with Sean Brace, giving you the edge you need.
That sounds like something that might be interesting.
Let's go. On Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. The action starts here.
You're damn right it does. Fun show today. Now, Sam Ostry from The Score riding with me every Thursday. Joining us right now on the Gambler stream is the host of the Tough Cover radio show, heard every Saturday morning right here on the Gambler, 11 to 1. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, that's how you want to start your Saturday afternoon of sports gambling. You need to tune in to the Gambler, especially this Saturday, Sam, when we got the Kentucky Derby. Woo! I'm telling you, I get fired up for the Derby. I get fired up for horse racing. We're live from Park Sportsbook and Casino with the Dick Girardi and Mike Kern at 9 a.m. with Kyle Slashmaker and John Jansen. All love and respect to everyone there. Right in the Mark Henry Jr. from 11 to 1. I don't know if he'll be handicapping ponies, but I do want to say this, and it bums me out because we're streaming right now on all things social media platforms, and I got banged with that DMCA violation for playing mute. Like, I would be hitting Stevie Wonder happy birthday right now, but I can't because then I'll lose my Twitter account and that would suck. So with that being said, happy birthday to Mark Henry Jr. joining
Happy
us
birthday,
right
Mark.
Not a great gift when it crossed over to 12 and my guy LeBron, the clock struck 12 on LeBron's season, but we're here anyway.
What did you have?
I had the Lakers in that game just because I thought they'd bounce back and send it to Game 6. But I said when they were down 2-1 on Saturday with Sam, and I tried to get Sam and Sean to talk me out of panicking, but I said that I thought the series was over at 2-1 when the Lakers lost that Game 3. But I actually had a pretty good night. I've been hot on the ice over the past couple days.
Marky Ice.
Marky
Ice.
Marky Sticks and Pucks.
Couple of these series been going with the over every night. I know Winnipeg St. Louis has hit like 5 of 6 overs. And then Minnesota Vegas, I think, has hit 5 of 6 or 4 or 5, however many there's been. Both have been pretty good to the
He does it all, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he is the host of the Tough Cover Show every Saturday right here on the Gambler. And you know what he really does well? The NFL draft. And that's what I could not wait to talk to you about. We will hit on some of the other items that are happening in the sports world. Phillies with a nice win yesterday. We'll talk a little big picture MLB. Man, Aaron Judge, the start of the season that he's having right now, this is absurd. Like, calm down. Also, I do want to get into Game 6s with you as well for tonight. But let's talk NFL draft real quick and just give me your thoughts on the Eagles NFL draft. What did you think? How do you think they did? Do you like the players that Howie? Are we still living and dying in Howie Roseman we trust here?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, it's not like I'm going to freak out about anything Howie does. You have to trust him to a certain degree. But I also think it's a little boring to not evaluate any decisions just because we trust the GM who's done good in the past. There's been plenty of great GMs across sports who have made bad decisions. But that's not how I feel about this draft. I actually feel pretty milquetoast about this draft. I gave it a C+ on our draft grades. I had Jahad Campbell 33rd overall. He went 31st to us. I seem to be a little lower than some of the other kind of draft experts out there in the industry. I view him more as a linebacker than an edge rusher. I know some people look at him as a potential edge rusher. He would be the 0.37 percentile at that position in terms of weight. So I just don't think he's big enough to play that position consistently. I think he's probably more likely to be a linebacker who can step up to the line and blitz occasionally or frequently. I think that there's obviously a lot to like in terms of the intangibles from the area, in terms of the athletic profile, really, really good relative athletic score. And the problems with him at linebacker in terms of not necessarily being the most instinctual player, getting crossed up sometimes, having some coverage issues. I think those are probably problems that are more easily able to be overcome by really good coaching with Fangio than being 0.37 percentile in weight at a position. So I'm hoping that they go with him at linebacker. If they do, I like the pick more because he was really the last linebacker on the board that I think you could feel good about starting day one. And then that's kind of the same thing with Mukuba a little bit. I would have preferred Xavier Watts, Notre Dame safety, who ended up going 96. I had him 16 overall. So one of the steals of the draft there to Atlanta in the third round, in my opinion. But
And Mukuba was the safety from Texas, correct?
Yeah. Mukuba, I had him ranked 50th overall. We got him 64th.
Okay.
So pretty good value there. And there was only 2 safeties left on the board, in my opinion, at that point, who I would have felt good about starting on day one. And I think you have to try to start Mukuba on day one with that hole that's left by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And it's funny, there is a lot of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to Mukuba's game in terms of kind of big play hunting, laying the boom a little bit. He's undersized for sure. Chauncey was undersized, but he's even a little bit more undersized than Chauncey. But worked out at the SEC level. Didn't really think that size prevented him from being an excellent player at Texas. So really like Mukuba. Pretty good pick there. Jahad Campbell, can't complain or really brag either way for me. 33rd player on my board, goes 31, just about right value. And then the thing that I've been spoiled on the last couple of years with the Eagles, they've done an insane job on day 3 at picking guys I love and have in my top 100 who fall down the board. And that just didn't happen this year. And that doesn't mean that nothing they did on day 3 is going to end up working out long term. It just means as we're sitting here right now, I don't look at any of the day 3 picks and get crazy excited as I have in years past with guys like Nakobe Dean or Eli Ricks or Keely Ringo or whoever you want to throw out there that kind of lasted down the board, I thought, longer than they should have.
Got to ask about Kyle McCord.
Why? I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Like what's the approach in your mind for selecting him there?
Philly guy.
Howie likes taking day 3 quarterbacks. He took Tanner McKee. He's taken plenty of them in the past. He took a swing on Carson Strong when he was an undrafted free agent a couple of years ago, who had a high profile but knee injuries. Howie likes taking shots at quarterback. We all know about the quarterback factory. So I think that they were probably going to take Shador if Cleveland didn't straight up and make that pick. And I think that they're probably like, all right, well, if we were going to take a third quarterback anyway, we might as well do it. I don't think too much of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Shador, that might have been the best thing for him to end up in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. I said, my buddy kind of pitched the idea, like, if you go and take him in the 4th round, you put out state-sponsored media to Elliot, to whoever I almost said a name there, whoever you want to say over the next 3 or 4 months. And you put out state-sponsored media that he's been a fantastic teammate and then he's been dedicated to the grind and he's accepted the backup role. And then if he has one good preseason performance and a quarterback gets hurt, maybe you're talking about a guy who could get traded for a 2nd, 3rd round pick potentially. But obviously that's not what happened.
All right. Who had, give me a team that you think nailed it as far as the draft is concerned. Give me a team that you think just hit a home run, start to finish from Thursday to Saturday. And then obviously on the flip side of that, who missed as far as maybe a team that was in the top 10 that you don't think man, what are they thinking? They're clues to the usual.
Positive first, I'll say Carolina. I really, really like what Carolina did to build on kind of what they finished last year. Bryce Young really took a step, and you go and get him, a guy who I've been really high on. Tet McMillan became kind of a polarizing player. And it's funny because part of that polarizing kind of player process was Steve Smith coming out and really, really crapping on Tet McMillan and saying, this guy's a bum. He doesn't know how to run routes, all yada, yada, yada. Who goes and takes Tet McMillan but the Carolina Panthers, where Steve Smith was a legend for a long time. I thought that was pretty funny. But he kind of changed his tune once Carolina picked him, by the way, and kind of, he's got, the intangibles and, the size to work with. If he can learn some, whatever. Yeah. But I've been big on Tet McMillan since the first time I saw him play his first year at Arizona. And the last 2 years he's put up, huge 1,300, 1,400 type yard seasons. His first year at Arizona, he only had 39 catches, but he had 700 plus yards. He was averaging almost 20 yards per catch that first year as a freshman. So people have kind of labeled him as this contested catch guy. And anytime there's the contested catch guy, you hear names like J. Jaw and names you should be concerned about. But this was a guy his first year at Arizona who was a big play merchant and was kind of a deep ball guy. So I think this guy's a lot more versatile than people think he is. I think that's the perfect fit for Carolina to kind of put a wide receiver 1 next to Bryce Young long term. And then they go out and they take 2 edge rushers who I had graded as top 40 players. Nick Scorton was my number 36 overall player. They got him in the late second round. Princely Uman-Mielen was a first-round pick for me, my number 20 overall player, and they got him in the mid-third round. Shane Haff and I on our draft podcast do our draft grades where we give our biggest regret for every team. And almost like every team that took a defensive lineman in the second or third round, it's like taking blank instead of Princely, who Carolina went out and got in the mid-third round. So I love what Carolina did. I think they're on the rise for sure. And then on the negative side,
yeah, we love a good negative story too as well.
There's a couple ways I'm going to go with San Francisco. There's easier ones that are being more talked about. Kind of New Orleans, I know, is getting a lot of slack. I'm going to say San Francisco because they had 11 picks. They had 4 picks in the top 100. Obviously, my big board is my big board. I'm going to evaluate the draft based on what happens on my big board. They had 4 top 100 picks. They only got 1 of my top 100 players. And that top 100 player that they did get is the guy they took 11th overall, who I had 54th overall. So even the guy that they did take in my top 100, they massively reached on. According to me, I haven't been a big Michael Williams guy. A little bit of a looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane situation, in my opinion. And then the rest of the board, none of the guys made my top 100. They took a linebacker who nobody thought was going in the top 150 in the early third round. Alfred Collins, a defensive tackle with no pass rush skills, in the early second round. San Fran has had a really puzzling offseason. I think their win total is still like 10.5. I don't get it. And I'm a Shanahan guy. I've been a John Lynch guy in the past. I think they generally do a great job. It's been a weird offseason, and I know that some of that's been having to pay Purdy, but the draft here really, really did not like what they did.
Mark, first off, happy birthday, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, brother.
I want to ask about a team in our division, the Giants, because I see the Giants getting a lot of praise for their draft. And look, Abdul Carter obviously is phenomenal talent. You can have him first or second best player in this draft. So getting a guy like that is a great addition. But I think a lot of that praise also comes from trading up into the first round, back up into the first round to get Jackson Dart. And I'm not completely sold on Jackson Dart. So I want to ask you about specifically Jackson Dart and what we think about the Giants did with their draft.
Yeah, I gave the Giants a C on our draft grades. I kind of
Lower
think
than a lot of people would have.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people love the draft, and I think part of that is people love Abdul Carter, and people see that name and they're like automatic A- or whatever you want to say. The way I look at it, though, if you're the Giants, you have the third pick. You had a terrible season yet again for like whatever the 10th straight year or whatever it is at this point. You have a team full of weaknesses all over the field. You have Brian Burns, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, and you have Dexter Lawrence. The only strength of your team is that you have 3 really good pass rushers and 3 really good defensive linemen. Or if you're lower on Kayvon Thibodeau, you could say 2 really good defensive linemen and 1 maybe average defensive lineman. That's the strength of the Giants team. So you go and get the third pick. Abdul Carter, he's probably the pick I would have made if I was the GM. But it's hard for me to sit here and freak out about them taking the third pick at a position of strength on a team full of weaknesses. It just feels like it was the wrong year to have that third pick for the Giants. They really screwed themselves. You look at the package that Cleveland got to move out of the second pick. If Drew Lock doesn't go win in week 18, the Giants can do that and fill one of the other 15 holes they have on their roster, moving down to 5, picking up a first for next year, giving yourself another chance to kind of get a quarterback next year. So I get it. They probably made the right move. They probably made the move I would have made if you're on the board and you had to make a pick. But I also kind of feel a little, there wasn't the quarterback that, you wanted if you're picking at the top of the draft. There wasn't that next level kind of offensive lineman prospect that we've seen in years past. Even New England taking an O-lineman at 4. I thought that was a bit of a reach for where that guy should have went in the draft. So, and then the rest of the board, like people love a lot of the value they got. I'll get to Dart. Darius Alexander, he went 65th. I had him like 60th. So fine value, good value. Cam Scadaboo, a guy who people like because he's a white running back. I had him 66th. He went about 100th pretty good value. That's fine. Marcus Bow, I had him.
Hang on. I need to hang on 1 second. I full disclosure, super busy. Cam Scatterbo ended up with the Giants.
Yes. Yeah. Cam Scatterbo, third pick of the 4th round to New York. It's going to be interesting because Tyrone Tracy got a lot of like praise last year. I think he's one of those classic guys where it's just like he got 250 carries, move on. Like, I don't think Tyrone Tracy was special in any way. I think he just got a lot of work and stayed healthy. So like you put up some stats, whatever. I think Scatterbo, if I'm talking fantasy, that's the guy I would want to own from the Giants, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, look, he was fun to watch.
I do like him. I made a joke with the white running back thing.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Yeah, I was wondering just as far as like his mentality and whether or not that's going to play at the next level. If he's getting reps, sure it plays, but if he's not getting reps, I don't know what he brings to the table. We'll see. I would like to believe that Cam Scatterbo can make an NFL roster and be effective.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, he'll definitely get carries this year, whether he's a starter or not. He'll get work for sure. 4th round pick. You give that guy work for sure. So I think that the way he runs, he might have a short shelf life in the NFL. Such a physical running style. Maybe he can hold up. Derrick Henry's held up. So not that he's Derrick Henry, but I'm just saying like plenty of guys have run a physical style and, maybe lasted longer than people thought. So maybe I'm wrong there.
With the Giants.
Jackson Dart is where this draft is tough for me. Like, and I get it. I'll give them credit. They didn't do what the Falcons did and trade a 1st round pick for next year to get into the back half of a bad draft. At least they traded like a 2nd and 2/3. And I think that's still too much, especially when you look at the fact that you traded up to 25 to get Jackson Dart. I still think Shedeur is a better quarterback prospect than Jackson Dart, and he went 4 rounds later. So it's, hindsight's 2020. I almost said hindsight's 50-50. Hindsight's 2020, but Shedeur went 4 rounds later. Obviously, the Giants didn't know that was going to happen, but and Brian Daboll apparently almost like fist fought Shedeur when he met him at the combine, apparently. But I think that it's a tough look to take Jackson Dart and to move up for Jackson Dart when the quarterback position played out the way it did. Even I'm not the biggest Milroe guy. I like Dart a little bit more than Milroe. Milroe went at 92. Like, that's a pretty good value. I kind of like what Seattle did in the draft in general. I thought Seattle had a really good draft, but in terms of taking quarterback value compared to what happened with Dart, I'd much rather have taken the swing on Milroe where Seattle took that swing, or on Shedeur where Cleveland took that swing, obviously.
I did see the general manager for the Seahawks was asked, Milroe said you had him as number 1 quarterback.
What is that? What are you doing as a GM calling that guy out?
Yeah, he said that Milroe said to the reporters that he was the number 1 quarterback. That's what he heard from Seattle's brass. And then the Seattle, forgive me, the general manager for the Seahawks.
John Schneider.
Thank you. And he was like, did we? Oh, I don't think we did. It was just like, wait a minute, dude. Like, just fall on the sword. Yeah, man, we spoke. Like, not even answer the question, just more than what he did. No, yeah, we didn't. And just cracking about that soundbite, but oh well. All right. Anything else as far as from the NFL draft that you think is important? Maybe the Cowboys perspective, Commanders over the Cowboys. How about that? Let's start there.
Neither. I wouldn't say I have too strong of an opinion on either draft. Connerly and the Commanders got Connerly and Amos. Both I had kind of ranked around where they got taken. I would have taken other players at those positions instead of them if that were on the board, but can't complain too much. Fine draft, unspectacular for Washington. I think. Did
they do anything for Daniels in the draft?
Not really. Well, offensive tackle. They got an O lineman in there. I don't know if he starts day one. He might kind of back up and be the future behind Andrew Wiley. But he may also start right away too. And Wiley's not that good. But the other guy they got was a corner. The Dallas took a terrible reach at number 12. I kind of like what they did the rest of the draft. I feel like Dallas generally actually does pretty well on day 2 and day 3. But they took Tyler Booker at 12. Tyler Booker was the only player who got drafted in the first 3 rounds who had a relative athletic score of under 4.0. He's just an interior offensive lineman, not a position of a ton of value, who is not an athlete whatsoever. He's a good football player. I had him 42nd overall, but taking the 42nd overall interior offensive lineman at 12th overall, felt like Dallas was so locked in on Ted McMillan and Tet going 8 sent them into a tailspin. That's a team that really should have traded down. The one takeaway I gave in the chat today, and I hate, Sean Bernard and I are probably going to be debating about this for the next 9 months now. So now I'm like some Justin Herbert guy. But I love what the Chargers have done in general this offseason. I think this roster, you look at it, I think it's pretty clearly top to bottom the best roster in the AFC.
Wow.
You look at take out quarterback, and I think quarterback's a part of it, but take that out. Omarion Hampton, the guy they drafted in the first round, he's going to be a top 10 to top 15 running back this year, in my opinion. That guy was elite with Drake May at UNC, and then he was elite the year after when he had to do it all by himself. You drafted Lad McConkey last year, stud. You drafted Trey Harris this year in the second round. He's my second favorite receiver in the class. You have 2 bookend tackles who are top 5 tackles in all of football in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. You just paid Mekhi Becton to come in and shore up the interior there. Super Bowl champ. They actually got a great contract. I thought he was going to get way more money than he got to go to the Chargers. And then obviously, I actually think the defense overperformed last year, but that defense, the defensive coordinator stuck around. Jesse Minter did a great job, and they kept pretty much the entire defense besides Bosa, who's never healthy anyway. So I think that Chargers defense should be very good again, and they've added a ton of pieces on offense. And the thing that I always get mad about Sean Bernard with is me and him were on this Justin Herbert hate train years ago when everybody wanted to crown him before he ever made the playoffs. And my problem with him always was people putting him with Josh, with Lamar, with Joe Burrow above Jalen Hurts, clearly without conversation.
Yep.
That was always my problem. Now he's not in that. He's not in that top 5 with Jalen in that top 5. But once you move past that top 5, are we really saying he's considerably worse than Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff? He's right in the conversation, I think, for 6th, 7th, 8th best quarterback in football. With everything I just gave with that roster, that they've done an incredible job over the last couple of years, and with Jim Harbaugh, not a guy who I like, but a fantastic football coach, I think the Chargers, they're my pick to win the AFC sitting here on May 1st.
Wow. Excellent. First of all, Mark, nice job, dude. You were spitting with that hit. Good grief, dude. That was Baldy-esque, the way you know these names and where they're at and where they were drafted. That was really good by you. Nice work. Once again, he now has NFL in the handle. All right. He means business.
Had to solidify it.
Henry Jr. NFL coming your way. I like it. Rolls off the tongue there. Nice work. And people can hear exactly why you are, or why you did change that in the title there in the handle, because you know a thing or two when it comes to the league. That's for sure. So can hear them from 11 to 1 right here on The Gambler every Saturday morning. And please tune in this weekend, because it's going to be a great day of listening, because with the Kentucky Derby at Parks, and the Kentucky Derby isn't actually at Parks, but we will be live at Parks at 9 a.m. Dick Girardi, Mike Curran, right in to Mark Henry Jr., talking a little bit more about the draft, and of course the NBA playoffs, Phillies, all that and more. With that, quickly on this though, Mark, if you wouldn't mind, Game 6 is tonight. Opinion? Do you have one that you like more than others? Where you at with the Knicks and Pistons? Essentially a pick 'em, and then of course the nightcap with the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. We're split on both of these games right here in the studio.
I just want I need James Harden to shove it in the face of the haters. The haters have been saying stupid stuff and ignoring what he did in all the games previous to that one. I'll ride for Uno for life. So I'm not betting that game, but I'll be rooting like it's a Sixers game for the Clippers. So I'll be rooting very hard for the Clippers tonight in that game. And then as for Knicks Pistons, I lean Knicks. I'm not betting a side in the game. I lean Knicks. I just watched the Pistons. I'm watching this series and walking out of it feeling worse about both teams. The Knicks, I do not think highly of the Pistons, and you're the Knicks, and they are really struggling with them. And then the Pistons, you watch that, you look at the roster, the box scores. How are they winning with these guys outside of Cade? They have 10 role players outside of Cade, and whatever you want to say about Tobias, but it is insane.
There's a lot to say.
Yeah, there's a lot to say, but it's insane that the Knicks aren't wiping this team off the court. And I think the Knicks should win. It makes no sense to me that this series isn't over already.
That's kind of where Sam is as well. Forgive me. I want to go back to the draft for just one more, because shame on me for not bringing this gentleman's name up. I want to know about Travis Hunter Is he going to change the game for Jacksonville? Like, all of a sudden, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. Like, I'm pulling for the Jags. Travis Hunter, is he going to be the next, like, is he going to be a stud at the next level?
I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think I think it's going to be a disastrous trade. One of the worst kind of trade values in NFL history, in my opinion. You just cannot give up a future first-round pick for a non-quarterback. It's just, we've seen it time and time again. It never works. And people want to say, oh, well, Will Anderson works. Show me the Texans Lombardi trophy in the case that tells me that trade worked. They have an offensive line that's terrible, and they had to go draft 2 wide receivers because they had such a need at weapons for CJ Stroud. So, yeah, they got CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. They're both really good players. They don't have a lot around those players, and that's going to be the problem going forward for Houston. So you can say that trade worked. I'm still skeptical. And I think that trade empowered a team like Jacksonville to make this trade, and I think that's dumb because not only did they give up a future first next year, they gave up the 36th pick of this draft. Jacksonville has desperate needs at defensive tackle. I think if I remember you sent the odds in the morning after they traded for Travis Hunter for them to win the division. I would have liked their chances to win the division more if they just stuck and picked Ashton Genty. I think that would have been a more immediate impact. Maybe the long-term impact isn't as large. Ashton Genty might be a more short-term player. Obviously, he's a running back. The shelf life is shorter for those players. But I would say the immediate 1-year impact, Genty would have raised that floor higher. Here's the take for you. Give me the Raiders this year over the Jags. I'm high on the Raiders. I think the Raiders have a surprising season. The reason they were bad last year, they were the worst coach team in football with Antonio Pierce, who was a bozo, punting from his opponent's 35 instead of taking 52-yard field goals. They had the worst quarterback play maybe in the last decade with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew sharing time there. And they had like Sincere McCormick as their lead running back for the last half of the season. They had a terrible running game. They actually have a good O-line, a great defense, a lot of names up front in that front seven, and obviously Brock Bowers. You go out and you add Ashton Genty. I liked some of what they did on day 2 as well. I think the Raiders can compete to make the playoffs.
How about that, dude? I'm glad we came back to it. Spin on his birthday. Nobody's giving you a state-sponsored radio over there too as well. Great job across the board. Mark Henry Jr., fantastic job. Mark Henry Jr. NFL on socials. Hear him on Saturday, 11 to 1 Tough Cover radio show. Mark, what do you got booked for tonight, man? What are you doing? Getting some den with the wife?
The wife's actually out of town for work. On the birthday, a solo birthday, heading over to the mom's house. Had to go steal a cake and bring it back home and eat it all by myself by tomorrow morning. But just seeing the fam.
Excellent. Well, enjoy it. Good luck on any of your plays this evening. Look forward to hearing you on Saturday. Gambler Gang representing. Please take us out as always.
Tough Cover Country. Let's ride.
Let's ride. There he is. Shout out Russ with the Giants now too as well. Mark,
he's been in every Knicks game.
Yeah, man. He's a star.
Well, because his wife.
Correct.
Yeah. That's why.
My goodies. Goodies. That's a good tune. Sierra's, Sierra, right? I don't know.
She's Sierra.
She's Sierra.
She's Sierra. I don't really know much about her. I just her and Future.
Future was that was a long time ago, and I don't know. She's talented. She could sing or she could dance, but like she's not like a pop star. She's not like
she's a star.
She's definitely a star.
I just know her because of her looks. Like that's just I don't really know. Like
she's always wearing hats and stuff and shades. She's attractive. Let me take that back. She's very attractive.
Yeah.
And Russ
is a weirdo.
Russ is a star too, man. Multiple Super Bowls.
The perception around Russ started turning the other way completely over the last
no
few years.
doubt.
I think it definitely helps that he has her by his side.
Yeah,
at, like these Knicks games because Russ. Like his teammates were calling him a weirdo. Like his teammates were like, "We're not going to your birthday party." Like he's doing high knees on the airplane.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like,
yeah.
Russ is not a well-liked dude. I don't think.
Yeah. All right. Giants got
Mr.
Cam
Unlimited.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Giants got Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah,
all right.
Scatterbo. It's gonna be a great name for announcers.
I like that. All right. Any final thoughts before you get out of here? We got cooking over at the Score.
A lot of stuff tomorrow. big piece on Giannis's next team odds. A lot of books have that up right now.
Is he staying in Milwaukee? We'll read it. We'll read it.
He's plus 125 to stay in Milwaukee right now. Nets are second best odds, and you got the Thunder and the Spurs. And
it all comes down to him forcing his way out, correct?
Yeah. I mean, the Bucks could trade him theoretically, make that move.
Sell that to your fan base.
Yeah, I don't think they would ever do that. It would be a mutual thing where it's like it's probably in our best interest, each of us, to go our separate ways, because there's no path for them to contend over the next few years. So I don't know. Giannis loves it there. Like, he loves that city. And
who's got a better path, Sixers or the Bucks?
Sixers by 4. By 4. By 4.
By far?
Yeah, at least they have maybe first round pick. We'll find out in a week. Well, they'll less than 10 days. We'll find out if they have their first round pick.
Are you trying to sell me that,
they have Maxey, who's should be an all-star next year?
Yeah.
If Embiid can play, they have an all-star. Paul George, they have a pick. Bucks have nothing. They just made a desperation trade for Kyle Kuzma. They don't control any of their first-round picks till 2031, and Damian Lillard probably won't play a second next year. They have nothing.
Probably right. Wow. I can't believe that we're ending the show with a positive 76ers note. I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed. Well, look, they had a great run year after year after year making the playoffs. This year, unfortunately, did not. But these NBA playoffs have been awesome. Tune in tonight. These two are going to be bangers. Game 6. And just to let the people know, we got something in-house. Sam back in the New York Knicks. Sean back in the Detroit Pistons. If the Pistons win, Sam's got to change Sean's oil in his car. If the Knicks win, Sean's got to go to a New York bar in a Boston Celtics jersey next week. So the Gambler Gang is representing.
Go Knicks, baby, tonight.
Hey, the golf conversation continues on the other side. We gave away a pair of tickets to the Truist Championship. We'll continue to do that all throughout the course of next week as well. Before we get out of here, real quick, housekeeping note, Gerhardt's Appliances. Folks, we're teaming up with them. We've been running with them for quite some time. Check them out online, Gerhardt'sAppliance.com, Gerhardt'sAppliance.com. Find where a location is near you, especially this weekend. They got all new shops popping up, King of Prussia. 2 days only this weekend, the tent sale, May 3rd and Sunday, May 4th. Gerhardt'sAppliance.com. Check out what they're offering. Great specials, great deals. And folks, it's grilling season. So I need a new grill. Went to Gerhardt's a couple days ago, checked out what they had to offer at KOP. We'll be pulling the trigger next week on a brand new grill for the household. Absolutely needed. When man, the grates were all falling. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm going to Gerhardt's. They're hooking it up. Can't wait to get that brand new grill. Check out everything they have to offer. Once again, Gerhardt's is Philly's team. They've been supporting all of Philadelphia area for over 80 plus years. They're the home team. We need to support them. You need a new appliance in your home. Maybe mom needs something for Mother's Day, your wife, whatever it may be. Put a smile on their face. Gerhardt'sAppliances.com. Sam Ostry from The Score. Great job. Everybody don't touch that dial. Swing it and ding it is next. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior